right, everyone. Thank you all for waiting so patiently as we go ahead and get started. Oh my goodness. Thank you all for waiting so patiently as we go ahead and get started. There we go. Infinite looping. Infinite looping. Oh, it was horrifying. My goodness, sorry about that. As we are ready to go ahead and get started with some more Song of Rapture after a long anticipated break, now returning to a very tense situation. I'm excited. I know the rest of the cast is excited. And I'm sure the DM is chewing at the bit to see how this all plays out. So, I want to thank you all so much for joining us. And without further ado, Monsieur Omen, I hand the reins over to you.
Our valiant vanguard, they had addressed a dire situation that it seems that they had been forced into. And after much deliberation, not only on the current situation, but how they should handle it, as well as this rather current situation or otherwise surprising reactions of the members of the party to this situation, it seemed as if the valiant vanguard had gathered themselves a plan and are beginning to move out. But what exactly they conspired to do together and what exactly is going on is not really my story to tell. So can someone please tell me what happened on the last episode of Song of Rapture?
Previously on Song of Rapture, after receiving this note handwritten by Jody and telling them that they would need to appear to their guild hall unarmed, empty-handed, or face consequences, the Valiant Vanguard went back to the Fallen Horse, where they came up with a plan. Swift Hollow, Luna's Spook, and Tamar Khan would infiltrate the gates of the guild hall invisibly thanks to Samantha's magic, where they can start gathering information. Swift Hollow would be able to scout about and get an eye for a couple of the guards and where they had been placed around the area, while Luna's Spook could go through walls and hear conversations that Luna could tell directly to us. Tamar Khan was also going to be scouting from the rooftop, just trying to get a good idea of the layout that we would be dealing with and aid in some other information gathering for Swift Hollow and Luna. And at the beginning, it was very easy. Tamar Khan was able to land on the roof, though not quite knowing how this invisibility magic worked, may have called upon the magic of Ryssus to give him a little guidance. And his invisibility immediately dropped. Thankfully, though, he was stealthy enough and was not detected by the patrols walking around the perimeter below. Luna's Spook was able to go in through the walls very easily, and Swift Hollow was able to find entry through a half-open door to the stables that was along the gate. Kind of a different entryway, and she was waiting until the coast was clear before she moved forward. Tamar Khan was able to catch sight of a couple of hostages, as well as 3 of Samantha's kobolds that seemed to be hiding in one of the sheds along the perimeter. Looked like that they weren't totally harmed, and maybe Hell's High just didn't even know they were there. And that could be very helpful. The Spook eavesdropped and located a couple of hostages. But within the Grand Hall, where it seemed Mordred Kane and some of his officers, per se, were gathered, one of them seemed to be not entirely certain of the plan, or at the very least, was not willing to put his life down on the line for Mordred Kane, no matter what the price was. He insinuated if things were to go sour, he might leave, and looked like he was trying to convince somebody else to do the same with him, that sat at the table alongside him. But at the end of this table was Jody, looking like she had been beaten and battered and put up one hell of a fight, talking to Mordred Kane, who wanted to know if there was really 5 people in the party. See, the note that she wrote mentioned only 5. Mordred wanted to know why it was instead there was 6 people being crowned dragon slayers that day. Jody offered a very easy explanation. Gregory used to be a man of the people. Everybody loved him, and the rest of the Valiant Vanguard was a little more business, a little more serious, or at least not quite the same as Gregory. So Samantha looked for somebody else to act as the face, as the PR. And that would be Tamar Khan, who Jody described as a clown, and supposedly didn't actually know how to fight, leveraging the fact that Samantha's film festival of sorts used illusionary magic. So there might have been a couple of scenes that weren't quite true to the actual events of our stories. Mordred Kane seemed to buy this, and is now only expecting 5 of us, everybody except the monkey. But he did mention something that we don't quite have answers for yet. We didn't get his motive. We don't know why he's doing it. All he said is the madam would be pleased. Who this madam is, we're not quite sure. But hopefully we'll be able to find out. Mordred seemed to have been a former guard. And several of the people in Hell's Hydras were also former guards. Where he's getting the currency for this and how much they're getting paid for this job is not quite known, but it looks like a lot of people are desperate enough to follow it. Near the end of the scouting, Tamar Khan spent some time studying the various members of this group, trying to get a read on them and understand the enemy. In particular, he wanted to know a little bit about the masked individual that we hadn't seen around town before, it seems. A new face, or rather, a mask. Hidden face. And Swift Hollow was able to go around confirming location of the hostages, confirming how many guards were being watched by them, and also hearing that some of the older guards were trying to convince the hostage guards to join their side. Seems like however much this is getting paid may have been worth it. Maybe other people could be convinced that this plan is a bad idea and they should probably jump ship now before bad things start to happen. With all of our information, we all gathered back at the Fallen Horse to come up with our plan and what it is that we wanted to do. The point of tension was our armor, and if we were going to go in without our armor. Several people did not like that idea. Luna left her armor inside the guild house so she would have very little options. Persephone was adamant that they should not enter with their armor because that's what they asked, and she didn't want to risk being cheeky with their instructions. But Kuldor and Samantha stood their ground and defended that they would wear their armor and figure out a way around it. Thankfully, Swift Hollow offered her own armor to Persephone to protect her, because Samantha did not want Persephone going in without armor. The other plan was they kind of wanted Swift Hollow to help Tamar Khan with getting hostages out safely and maybe picking off a couple guards if they needed to. But how would they do that if they needed Swift Hollow there? So the plan was Persephone will conjure a dryad, which they can disguise and dress up as Swift Hollow. And Persephone told this dryad it would be under the guise of a game, a pretend game, where she has to pretend to be Swift Hollow, and they win by making sure nobody finds out that's wrong. So with the dryad now fully dressed up and looking like Swift Hollow, they having their armor, them having gotten supplies at the last minute, and Tamar Khan and Swift Hollow going over what it is they are going to do while we go in and discuss with Mordred Kane and the Hell's Hydras. It seems that the Valiant Vanguard now had a plan set, and it's about to become midnight. So join us tonight as we write another verse in Song of Rapture.
Bravo.
Very well done, Melanie. Give yourself some DM inspiration.
Everyone gets plus 100.
Oh, how about that? You might have to roll yourself a D100 then. Hey,
That's not bad.
Quick.
that's pretty freaking good. Hold on, Yeah, one moment. Putting
Standing.
number. There you
Higher
are.
than pretty fucking
Yeah,
good.
you're better than what Brendan does.
That's usually 4
2
D100
digits?
rolls for Brendan.
Yeah.
Hey,
You're just somewhat under. No, you're somewhat under half. It's not a bad number to roll. It's hard when you roll a D100 and you end up rolling lower than a D20 or something. Let's see, 39. That is.
Don't make fun of Brendan.
Okay.
Make
Okay,
up
all right.
quantity, not quality.
All right. As indeed, we rejoin our Valiant Vanguard as they now approach the edge of the guild hall. It seems as if the party has kept themselves well spread across the city of Oakwell before sort of imparting magic upon each other before setting themselves off to lay in position. Tamar Khan, Swift Hollow, where are you guys right now as the party is now beginning to make the trek towards this confrontation?
A little bit before the party arrives, made himself up towards the north area after being cast with a bit of magic from Persephone's little friend, the Dryad. Seems like his presence even more disguised than usual. Sneaks close to the wall and actually tucking himself up underneath the edge of one of these large towers where a man patrols up above him, and he's just sort of slunk down into the shadows.
As Swift Hollow, like a chameleon, with the help of her
Talk.
shark skins. Okay, I
Uh,
can't remember the name. With the help of her shark skins, is just sort of holding onto the wall, able to find, using the rough stone to just dig into it, waiting for the call to strike. Patiently.
All right. You guys would have headed out a bit ahead of time, giving yourselves a few moments, maybe a minute or so, to find a solid and well hidden place along the actual flat of the wall, away from the actual lights of the torches that seem to line the parapets and grant what looks to be these watchmen vision out into the night. You guys quite easily find yourselves able to slink up into the shadows and keep yourselves well hidden enough as the rest of the party begins to approach. What do you guys, just one more time, what do you guys donned in? What do you guys have on? What are you guys carrying with you?
Persephone is wearing the studded leather that Swift Hollow gave her, but has it disguised as kind of like it's bulky. So she just kind of maintains that and has it look like a bulkier dress rather. She was ready for the party. She wants it to look like that. She didn't want to sneak around and mess around. So she's just got like a yeah. But what she's doing is that she had taken off her focus so that she's holding it within her hand, wrapped in a cloth, to not insinuate she's going to use it to cast magic. But within her crown of flowers is a little sprig of mistletoe that she got from the Heartwood Sanctum. And before we
wrapped up in here.
Yep. And before we approach, Persephone is going to give a little tangleroot seed to her familiar spirit that she, for the day, had turned into an owl for this endeavor. She gives it to Spirit and tells him just to hold it, just don't break it for now. And gives Spirit the instruction to fly to the roof of the guild hall and keep an eye out for the patrol. And if they see the patrol coming around the corner, just discreetly hoot.
Okay.
Hooty hoo!
As your little owl nods in recognition and flutters away in the most discreet manner possible. You know, it's nighttime. If there's an owl flying around, let's see, just this slightly. What about the rest of y'all?
Luna is just wearing just a basic outfit from an outfit that she used to wear a lot. Something that doesn't require a lot of protection for when she can cast some protection on herself before, but now she requires some armor. It's just a basic outfit. Also, God, can I have an imp?
Can you have an imp? 1 second. Let me imp you up real quick.
This Luna just taps the head of her spook as it just seems to start grabbing at its armor pieces and just ripping it off. As underneath, we see just a little imp.
Oh my
You
god,
can just
it's so
change
cute.
him between different forms.
Yeah, just cast a spell again.
Yeah, you can cast it as an action. Part of being a witch. Got some cool familiar powers.
Weird. I like it.
The abomination class.
Gotta put this on
I was
the
like, you get a
thingy.
spook and an imp? I was like, holy shit.
Okay. That should do it. It should be at the top for you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have my imp follow Tamarcon around invisibly.
Okay. Sneaky, sneaky. Boo, boo, boo. There we are.
Like close enough that he'll have to make stealth checks.
Persephone
He
holds up
flaps through
her.
the air.
Persephone
Have
holds
to
up
be
her
quiet.
other tangleroot seed. If they break it, it would create tangly brambles on the ground. It might slow down some of the patrols if they need it.
As the imp will take one as well. Just kind of nod at Persephone before turning invisible.
Okay. What about the rest of y'all? What are y'all wearing? What are y'all bringing with you?
I'm wearing my full plate.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have my shield. latched to me, and I have my sword and scabbard out in front of me.
Okay. Holding out your sword and scabbard in one big piece, not strapped to your body.
Nope.
And what you, Samantha?
Just a slight alteration of what I was wearing earlier, since I was wearing my armor even during the presentation, just disguised as a dress. Changing the sequence of purple flowers to golden ones and making the dress a bit longer so that it goes down past my knees.
Okay.
And I have my scepter in my right hand, held almost kind of like luggage. Like I'm holding it like by the top of the connection, not connection, mass, I guess, of snakes at the top, as though one might hold like a pair of scissors with the point pointed down.
Sure. Keeping the dangerous end pointed down. Gotcha. Okay. Well, with that in mind, you guys would make your way towards the front gates. You'd see at the height of each of these parapets facing the main gate. Again, from the distance, I'd say probably, although you're not the most perceptive person in the group, I'd say you, Samantha, your eyesight carrying far beyond what the dim light of this now, apparently now rambunctious sounding night offers you. You can see that there are a pair of men dressed in what seem to be simple outfits, looks like chain shirts of sorts hidden up beneath like leather tunics, with looks like a bow on each hand. At first glance, they just seem to be guards like you'd expect to find here in the town, but they do, I guess, notice you guys approaching in this very open way and immediately start ushering people from the inside of the gate to start moving. As they recognize you, hold up a hand and try to keep you still without really saying or doing too much beyond that. As between, I guess, the four of you, you would see, I guess to you would be a well-dressed, no armor across her body, but pale skinned, I guess pale painted skin, long flowing white hair. It looks like you'd assume to be Swift Hollow, but instead, I guess you'd be followed by your new acquaintance, a playful member of the Fae who has now found herself in your service, the Dryad Ibradrina. As after a few moments, you'd hear some sounds of footsteps across the wall. You can, even though the walls are high around you, it looks like the side barn sort of resonates some of the movement within. Sounds like boots walking through now trampled grass. And then the doors, the gate itself would actually open as a pair of armed men would step out to approach you guys. As we will move on. Scene of the guild hall.
Yeah.
And as the door opens, Quill's gonna kind of look over towards Persephone. Did you get a haircut? You look different.
Persephone got new art.
Indeed.
Persephone doesn't respond.
Hey!
Such good art.
As these two men step forward, you can see that you can hear them walking. They're almost impossible to not hear. They're heavy, what sounds to be chainmail running beneath these like leather like slabs across their body, just sort of ring and rattle with every step. Now up close, you can get a better look at them. They're wearing these long black cloaks, these hard iron helmets on each head, and sticking out from within their cloak at their waist, each one sort of resting an arm atop of them, looks to be a pair of hatchets, kept generally well in their condition. As these two men step forward.
Well, well, well. Finally arrived. Almost late, it seems like. It's almost midnight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see 5. Very well. I'm assuming you're not going to raise a ruckus on your way in.
Wouldn't dream of it.
Are you sure? That one looks like he's armed to the teeth.
As the man like motions a hand over towards Quildor, who again is very visibly wearing a suit of plate mail.
Looks like he's come looking for a fight.
A knight does not remove his armor. I give you my word on my honor that I will not use this sword against you. It is for Mordred.
You're
I will
offering
give
your
it
weapon.
over to him. That is what was written, was it not?
A man brings his sword when taught not to. Interesting. Perhaps Mordred should hear about this first before we let them in. This seems odd.
He can simply surrender his weapon to you to take to him yourself, then. He has a whole string of convictions that seem almost religious. I'm sure you maybe met the type.
Ugh. Can't stand them myself. But
Quite stubborn.
Roll me a persuasion check, Samantha. As they do seem quite skeptical of the situation.
Get it. Hey.
Okay.
yeah. Men with strong convictions can't be changed. Very well. Hand over the sword slowly. We'll present this to Mordred. We'll see what he thinks. I suppose a coward must wear his armor even when told not to. Very well. As he takes, if you hand it to him, Kuldor, the man will try to take the weapon from you.
I will hand it over. Won't let go of it until he grabs it. And I'll
Puts
hold
his
it for
hand-
just a little bit longer, and then I'll let go.
That's what I thought. As he puts the, so you see him like sort of pull it at his side, almost to sort of test it on himself, sort of grab the pommel, try to pull it from the sheath. Seems a little difficult for him to do so at first until he finally finds the right pop and sticks it back in. I'm going to give this to
Yeah.
Mordred. Oh, another gift.
Yes, I am not so talented with the blade, but without this, my magic is without me, I suppose. I want to show a sign of good faith. I hope for this to end peacefully as I try to hand him my scepter, like handing luggage to a bellboy.
As you see, he reached out with his other hand to take the same thing, sort of weighing this strangely light, and although it's lopsided in appearance almost, weirdly balanced, long stretch of metal.
I suppose this is fitting, giving a great man many gifts upon meeting him. Very well.
We don't want... We want to be honest with our intentions. We don't want him to think anything is wrong.
And Persephone is outstretched. She unwraps the cloth, showing the focus, and then like wraps it up and holds it out to him to grab.
Look at you all. You live up to your name.
We're
Unfortunately
just a
for
bunch
you.
of pretty girls in dresses.
Can I, when he goes to take my focus for just a really quick second, I want to see into his heart.
Okay, he's definitely gonna reach out and yeah, especially with Samantha's comment, pretty girls in dresses. He definitely like lets his hand sort of extend a little too far, like take a hold of your arm and pull back the focus. As you definitely make contact with him, as your spirit sort of pulses and you can feel this sort of momentary connection between you and him. As, are you just trying to get into his mind? Or are you trying to see deeper?
Deeper.
Deep. What is that? Charisma save? Okay, let's see.
Charisma.
Oh, that's hidden. Don't do that one. Ooh, not
Hey.
very well. His intentions seem to be very known at this point. As his hand connects with yours, there's that sort of pulse and almost like an electrical spark running from your hand to his. Immediately, you can see he feels this like cut line between two strong emotions. One of them is, I guess, entertained. He seems, I don't know, almost surprised in a way at how easy this is going. Cut with immediate defensiveness. There is, as sort of coy as he seems like he's trying to be, there is this like incredible weight of caution to his disposition. He is like, it's almost as if he's trying to make small talk with a pack of tigers. He knows what danger he is in. And having failed that, let's see, alignment. You would see that this man, despite all these intentions, is rather, I guess, moderate. There might be room for goodness in his heart. There's definitely room for evil, and it seems like the positions he's in suggests that, but truly, it seems like his intentions may lay elsewhere. You'd probably assume him to be chaotic neutral.
Yes.
And she'll take yours as it looks over to the elf between you guys, as well as down to Luna.
There's any other gifts you'd like to give? I only have so many arms to carry.
Luna just kind of looks at him and just holds her tongue, her naturally sharp tongue. No, all of my stuff is in the guild hall already.
Oh, very well. And what about you?
Did we
As
give
you
her
see-
any weapons?
Swift Hollow
No.
puts her hands on her side, turns to you behind her, Persephone, and back to him.
I try to slip her a knife. Oh wait, no, all my stuff is in there. Never mind, I don't do anything.
You have my knife. Wait, what?
I'm afraid I didn't bring any gifts. I'm sorry. I should have brought something for you guys. As he just sort of gives her a weird look.
Right. All right.
Karen, I'm heading in to give this to the Lord. You make sure they're not bringing anything else in. Search thoroughly. As he's going to make his way back inside the gates, the door is still somewhat slightly ajar. As this man's going to basically go through and frisk you guys. There's anything you're trying to hide? If not, he's basically, if you do, you have to make a sleight of hand or a stealth check. Otherwise, he is just going to pat down and get anything that's obvious.
How grabby is he?
He's going deep. Especially since you're wearing armor, and that armor apparently was
No, I meant
forged
from
to be...
on the women.
Oh, I mean, come on now.
He's ignoring them, but he's getting deep on him.
Trying to see how many fingers he can slip in that plate. No,
Oh
he's
my God.
he's basically just making sure there's nothing being hidden, especially with so many apparently flowing dresses. He has to be very thorough to make sure that nothing's strapped to a thigh or an upper arm or upper waist. Being really thorough with his searching. But that's the idea. Trying to make sure that no one's bringing anything in, although it seems like he is just one man.
As he would try to approach me, my snakes have been sort of relatively calm, keeping themselves nice and low on my person, without really moving around. Just a bunch of heads sort of looking up from my clavicle area, watching him as he tries to approach. And as he gets a little bit closer, a few of them, not all of them, just sort of let out a subtle sort of hiss. Is this all truly necessary? I've already given you what I've given you. I don't want my babies to overreact.
They do bite.
Sometimes by reflex. I've had experiences, as I'm sure you can imagine.
Roll me an intimidation check.
Do I get advantage on those with my snakes out?
I don't know. Check your ability. Read your character sheet.
Check your character
I
sheet!
have so many things.
This is not the week I've skipped reading the sheet, Jordan.
Mr. I'm gonna have to make any ability checks. Yeah.
Before any session, you should always read your character sheet.
Yeah, she's already made 2.
Oh, it's advantage on perception thingies because I have a bajillion eyes.
Sure.
That's what it is.
But still, roll me an intimidation check, as you do have a crown of snakes currently hissing at a man who's been given the task of touching you.
20.
I think I've just gotten advantage before by using my snakes.
By having snakes scream at them, yeah.
Yeah. But this time they're being a little bit more subtle because I don't want him to freak the fuck out, though. Yeah, nice.
Now you'd see him approach somewhat cautiously, but sort of, you can see him catch his breath for a moment and then see the snakes sort of in their docile state.
It has to be done. We can't be too careful with the dragon slayers.
As he's going to, go one by one. Again, same thing, unless you guys are trying to hide something. Just trying to make his way one by one. Give everyone a quick frisk. Anything that's obvious. Obviously, through the dress, it'd be pretty obvious that you're wearing armor, though it seems like he doesn't seem to say anything about it. He just sort of feels it, reacts, and then just sort of continues to move down to feel for anything else. Going one by one. You can see Ibadrina, as he gets to her, just sort of keeps her hands up, and hands start patting all over her. You can see her sort of shaking as she seems to be laughing.
Swift Hollow, I didn't realize you were ticklish.
I'm not. I must be something new. As this the guard sort of looks up at him. Not at all what I thought you'd be, to be honest. This is a bit different. Oh, sorry. He just ticked me. That just feels good when you touch me like that. She starts laughing, and you could hear the sort of like soft chime-like sound from her voice as he kind of like tilts his head, and then, oh shit. Yep, sort of shakes his head. Right. What a weird lot. All right. It seems as if you're all in the clear, as it were. Right along. As he turns around and pushes open one of the large gate walls, as light begins to spill out into the courtyard where you guys now stand, as you find yourselves now entering the gate as he steps forward. After me, Mordred is inside waiting for you. We will follow you in. As you can see now, the other guard has made his way to the opening of this place. Seems like he's now empty-handed. Your supply is no longer on him, as they will step to either side of this doorway, each taking a hand on the handles of this door and pulling them open in a slow, careful draw. As you guys find the entrance of the guild hall, dark to most of you, as it seems as if this entire area has been devoid of light. The sun has since set, and only the inside this building seems to be illuminated by soft spotlights of what look to be candlelight that give way to a long, winding arch. Let's see, how far can you see?
Are we still telepathically bound?
Definitely are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would tell Chamar Khan and Swift Hollow about the guard that I saw over to the southeast.
I can't see anything. I don't know if that was intended.
Okay, not. Hold on, let me fix it.
I walked
I mean,
into
you did get a
the
new token.
Token,
Yeah.
might have been reset.
Nah,
Fresh
you should be
token.
fine. You should be
Also,
fine.
communicate
I'd
over
tell him.
the wire. It looks like the masked man is gone. He's not in the main.
And also tell him
room.
that the dog is in the southeast corner.
As you guys are walking in, you would see with your
Cool.
dark vision off in the darkness, it looks like a small patrol making the way around. They do acknowledge you, but they continue along their path. It seems like their focus is on somewhere else. Why are you not there? Oh, hold on. There you go. Nope, should be able to see. Let me flay with your little token real quick. Come on. There we are. All players see side.
The guards may not be entirely convinced, even though we gave them all of our weapons, so need to be just as cautious as say.
That. Can you see?
Understood.
I reset roll 20, so
Okay.
But I can't. No, I still can't see stuff.
Interesting.
Got that
Sometimes
new
you just have to
token.
reload the token.
Like I just gotta drag a new one out.
Yeah.
Try it.
Because you probably changed your token, and so then that token's not there.
No. Hang on.
Interesting. Set your vision.
20.
Let's try this. Oh,
But like I
vision.
can. It looks like I can see, but then what's happening is I have like a harsh block starting here.
It's just like global illumination. I can even see that down there.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, but when I go in, it doesn't go away.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's just a
that-
weird interaction. You might have control over somebody.
Weird.
Yeah.
Let me plus this a little bit.
New token, something's just didn't get clicked.
Got the sight on. Got your thing on there. Oh, there we go. Let's try that.
I can see!
There we go.
I can see clearly
New token.
now they're gonna
Last minute token
die.
changes. As you would see, as you walk in, there do seem to be a pair of what look to be just a one of these guards carrying torchlight, as well as following after this mangy-looking hound
As well as once the doors open, it seems as if the main hall has been lit by a number of candles. Most of them seem to be like fallen aside during it seems to be a scuffle. As the doors seem to be open to you, you can see the guards motion towards what look to be the closest stools. These are where you will sit.
Okay. Thank you. They smile at them.
We telepathically tell to Marcon and Sotalo, it seems like some of the more specialized adventurers that we saw in the Guild Hall earlier are no longer in here. Could meet them along the way.
Interesting. Try to avoid them if we can, I suppose. But we want to wait until they are all present.
Samantha, maybe we switch seats? You're taller than me, I can't really see.
I'm actually not even sitting on the stool. Samantha comes in, sort of drags the stool a little bit forward, and then plops herself on the table, sort of sitting side saddle, and looking down at Mordred Kane.
Yep. As you guys enter in, taking in the sights, and finding yourselves what can rarely be called a comfortable seat in these tense situations, you would hear the sound of a pair of doors shutting behind you guys.
I am just gonna invisibly just kind of go over this wall real quick from right here.
Sure. As you flutter up to the side, flutter down here.
Jodie's not in here.
No, she is. She's just in the back corner.
Yeah, as you're squinting your eyes, Persephone, again, this place is dimly lit. You don't really see where Samantha's possibly mentioning or motioning. It seems as if she might be off in the darkness. How she's able to see that far? Quite impressive. As you guys enter the room, you can see a pair of men, similar to the ones who met you outside, standing before you. They don't seem to be taking a seat. They seem to be standing on guard, almost blocking the way. Behind them, further down the hall, a pair of even further armored men with slabs of rough-looking splint standing on either side of this table, and sitting at what now seems to be a disheveled-looking throne of sorts. What used to be the head chair of this table is a man clad in some decorative-looking plate mail, sporting a long, tattered red cloak. And now you can see, as he sits up with a smile on his face, the gleam in the darkness from the candlelight, you can see just the dark, abstract of this long line and a deep patch across his eye, as you're in the presence now of one Mordred Kane. As he sort of sits and claps his hands together. At the very last moment, the heroes arrive. Well done, valiant vanguard. Thank you for joining me in this lovely abode. I'm sorry I didn't have a chance or the time to clean up the place. We've been keeping ourselves quite busy.
To be expected when you invite yourself over, I suppose.
Well, I was offered a position within this building, within your ranks. I thought I would take it on my own terms.
Interesting.
I wonder, what exactly were you planning on doing with this grand guild hall of yours? You have money, you have fame. You were heroes of Oakwell. What grand heroics were you planning on accomplishing with this beauty you've established?
Well, the valiant vanguard can only be in so many places at once. But by becoming a larger vanguard, a better and well-trained one, we could hope to replicate what makes us so extraordinary, hopefully in other places. I had hoped to even have someone of your expertise and experience be a part of that, though I don't think this is really what I intended.
Certainly. But you say it was to expand, to gather more numbers. But for what end, Samantha? That is what I wish to ask you. You do all of this. You find yourself doing great deeds, earning coin, earning fame.
Why? Why do you go through the trouble? Is it for the sake of gaining coin and fame? Is it for the sake of building more guild halls and requiring more members? What purpose does any of this have?
I think that eye patch is making him blind.
We just want to help people.
Sort of just like move my fingers between my snakes that sort of coil up around my arm a little bit. To put it quite simply, Mordred, it's just what I'm really good at.
That is what I expected. And that is why we are here tonight. As he'll sort of like sit down and sort of mess with a plate along his finger, looking along. It looks like he was eating something earlier, but now it's completely barren, save for some chewed up bones. As little imp, what are you doing over there?
Just kind of slowly scouting. I don't want to move too fast and cheat, but like just kind of moving towards windows and open doors, seeing where I can locate people.
All right. Seems like you're floating around here. It looks like the opening to some doorway, which the closer you little flutter towards, you can hear the sounds of speech coming around just the other side of the corner. It seems as if this is leading into an open room where people are currently having a conversation.
Can I get like Imp and Swift Hollow and Tamar control?
Sure. I put some
That
cameras
way I'll
around there, but I'll do this. Let's see.
Yeah, that way I don't want to accidentally put a camera where I shouldn't or something.
Control by Samantha. Haha.
Meld into your minds.
By Samantha. Haha. One sec. Control by Samantha.
Here you are, Tamar.
And last but not least, Spirit. Control by Samantha.
Oh, that's where the owl is. Neat. Okay.
Yeah. There's no roof to put him on, but he's on the roof looking around, using his super crazy good dark vision to spot anything that seems fishy. Let's see. As you see Mordred sort of like playing with his food on his plate before just pushing it aside. You know, before all of this, before I became who I am, I always longed to be what you are, what all of you are. True adventurers, true thrill seekers with a purpose. Although I believe over time that desire, that occupation has been sullied. When the Three Kings first started this lifestyle, when they termed the name adventurer, they were not out seeking coin. They were not out seeking fame to make themselves nobles or kings. No, they did so, as you so kindly put it, to help, for purpose. The fortune came as a byproduct, but it was never their intention. Truly, they were heroes, wanting to save the world. These days, you don't find that, do you, men? You find people taking up the occupation, taking a sword in hand and claiming the title hero, simply to line their pockets and make a simple living. It would be good for a man to make a living off of saving someone, saving a town, saving the world. But no, truly everyone wants to just become a noble. Do it not by blood right, not by birthright, not by heritage, but by killing some monsters. It's a simple promise.
Sort of changes her body language, sort of leaning in a little bit to convey true interest. Her snake sort of focusing in on Mordred. You don't find yourself to be a true adventurer, Mordred? And as she sort of, shows that she's actively listening to what he has to say and trying to pull him in with an open-ended question, as he would presumably begin his response, she goes into the telepathic bond. Tamar, Swift Hollow, get to work.
And upon arrival, guard my strikes as strange orange energy starts to slowly leak out of my hands and feet underneath the fur itself, giving it this strange coloration to it. As I turn and leap up onto the wall, bow in hand, as I start scrawling up this wall. As I get
Okay.
about halfway, I whisper, "And may your glow disappear underneath his glory," as wind seems to pick up above me, as this torch just seems to flicker and slowly start to die out as it dims with a little bit of thaumaturgy.
Nice.
As I tuck myself up underneath the lip of this tower, right at the top of the wall.
I thought it was already hanging there.
As
The
your
chameleon
soft
form.
whisper, your magic taking hold, the energy keeping you. I guess you're not invisible, are you? Are you visible and
Nope.
yeah, you're just
They're
sneaking.
passed without trace.
Making sure. I didn't know if you doubled up on that. Perfect.
For
All right.
stealthified, I guess we probably roll stealth check.
Yeah, we have
As
hidden
you're climbing
body.
now, I was gonna say yes. And make sure you're turning invisible now. So both of you carefully climbing up the wall with your perfectly hidden selves. Now challenging, getting closer and closer towards the top. I will need a stealth check. Shouldn't be particularly hard, but don't horribly fuck it up.
35.
Oh shit! Look at that.
Yeah,
Oh,
wait.
Actually, I think so. I don't
Let me
think with this
go.
you can fail this.
I get to roll it anyways because I want to look at the big number.
That's true. You both have plus
38.
20.
Plus,
As
yeah.
very carefully, expertly, you guys would scale the wall. You would. I guess
I guess
the
we
only
take
thing that
80.
would really. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. As you would make your way up to the edge, it seems like the guards themselves are keeping their eyes fixated away from the center of the actual guild hall. It seems as if they're mostly focused on what happens outside, as you would catch them with their backs turned to you.
Vitalo, go, as I just spin as this tiny little needle in my hand. I twist my hand as it expands outwards as I just try to strike this guy in the back of the head. Try and knock him silly.
As give me that attack roll with advantage.
I even roll an initiative. Crack.
All right. As you swing silently almost with this protective aura around your body, keeping you basically all the sounds from your body keeping suppressed, you'd swing your staff to the back of his head, as that would definitely connect, spinning and rattling his helmet across his head as he immediately flips off his feet and falls silently, hitting the ground with a thud and being unconscious.
As I kick myself backwards, if you could put me on the wall or like on the other side of the wall.
I know, dynamic line has to be this way.
I need to be on the inside because I'm on the wall at this point and I am running eastward.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little. There we go.
There we go. As I just start booking eastward, as I actually put my staff out in front of me, as right at the edge of the torchlight behind me, I slam my staff, sort of skidding onto the stone, and pole vault myself 10 feet up into the air as I seem to just disappear into the darkness as I stand upon the top of my staff and string my arrow on my bow.
Okay. As you do that during all this time, Swift Hollow, given the command to act, what do you do?
With hollow, quick as knife and just as silent, just whoosh. We're sort of billowing out as using her item interaction, shedding off her shark skins, and then as a free action, almost naturally at this point, especially in a situation like this, able to draw both of her daggers as coming behind him, she just positions both of them like a scissor, really. Except the daggers, the pointed ends are pointing towards his throat as he just executes him.
All
Stabbing
right.
them both into his throat at the same time.
Give me that stibbity stab. With triple advantage, as you are basically coming out of the shadows as death itself, giving them strikes.
99, buddy.
As he definitely would be surprised. Like immediately stab in, stab out. His body just sort of goes
48.
still between your hands and then
58.
just sort of falls before. And it seems like he falls and starts to hit the ground, or at least falls towards the ground. A few moments before the blood actually begins to pour from his throat. as you kill them quite expertly.
Swithala drops her daggers and starts to pull out her crossbow.
All
On
right.
your mark, to mark on.
As
I bounce upon my...
still at the end of your turn, seconds are passing now. These are all simultaneous actions as you've completed your task and moving on to the next one as well.
Still on my turn. I only have one attack.
That's true.
I have attacked and moved.
That's actually
I've
really
got
true.
more shit to do.
So you climbed up, hit a dude, jumped down, ran. How much more you got?
I'm starting the turn, basically. Just crouching under there, waiting for the moment to strike. The turn is bop the motherfucker, run 35 feet, launch myself 10 feet up in the air with my 45 movement, and I am taking some arrow shots. My remaining attacks. One with Warcaster.
Okay, so you're shooting all at where?
As I raise myself 10 feet up into the air, as I bounce on top of my staff, give myself enough leeway to actually peer over this little arrow encroachment
Just enough.
thing. I don't know what. Yeah, as I don't actually see it on my screen, but I'm guessing that's a dynamic lighting thing. I'm assuming I can see the guy in the guard tower over here.
Oh, you totally can.
All right. As I pop a shot off in his direction, as I pull out a strange arrow out of my bag with this blackened obsidian tip. You picked the wrong profession, my friend. Well, good luck any next life. As I fire it off in his direction in the darkness.
Get a little advantage on you.
With a 21 to hit.
Ooh, as that will connect, the arrow flying through the darkness, aiming to strike its mark. 17, as the arrow comes flying and then catches him in the back. He sort of reaches back. You can hear him like a soft whimper as immediately he starts lurching forward and then falls to the ground.
As I spin my body before I even really confirm if the strike hit or not, launch another arrow southward just at the end, but quite proficient in my longbow strikes as I fire at this buddy way down here. Fire another strike. Calling upon a bit of the blessing. This is one more strike. Like they'd never expect. Calling
Ooh.
upon a little bit of my Warcaster to attack one more time as a bonus action with any of my weapon attacks. Firing off another longbow shot with another obsidian arrow. A
Well
27 to hit.
Oh, that'll connect. As another arrow. Ooh.
Do it 12.
As the bolt or the arrow comes flying, you can see like maybe there's just a soft sound. He stops to turn around for a moment before the bolt catches him like right between the neck and his clavicle as he reaches up and grabs onto it. And he just tries to pull it out, but it seems like as he does, there's this soft, like, I guess with your vision, you can see he's surrounded by torches. This like little simmer of smoke come from the wound as he starts choking and then falls over and dies.
Sentry's down. Moving on.
As with Swithala, definitely. Oh god, the dynamic lighting.
What do you do? Yeah, you can't jump down on that thing, so you're jumping down top of the roof.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. Do something real quick. Do some fun Playmobil shit.
In Swift Hollow and Tamarkan, you hear in your head just kind of scratchy voice coming from none of your party members, seemingly coming from Una's imp that informs you that the same people are still in that room. It looks like there's another extra guard.
Mel, what are you doing? Mel!
What am I doing?
Just messing around with the stream.
What do you mean? What? I don't control the stream for this game.
Oh,
Jordan.
is it Jordan? You shaking the map back and forth?
I was just trying to adjust it so I can get everything in the shot.
As Swift Hollow, you would jump down from there, or slide down from this edge, very carefully making your way down on top of what looks to be a wooden roof. The boards sort of creak a little bit beneath your feet, but not enough to really give away any sort of sign that you're standing there, thanks to all of your freaking stealth rolls of being super dang high.
Too good.
Only 38.
As you would land on
Technically
top of the roof.
33. I didn't have my tools of the trade. I don't have my soft souls on.
Only
As it
33.
sounds like to Tamarkan's direction that the sentries have been taken out. As what were you saying, little omen boy?
Yeah, the same hostages are still in that room. It looks like there might be an extra guard, but I don't completely remember. how many
Perfect.
guards we have. An extra one of the enemy guards, not one of our hostage guards.
Bad guards.
We're going to clear the west, and that is our next stop.
All right. As we'll cut back to the main hall where the unaware, it seems, are continuing to have their casual little meeting. Where you can see Mordecai now finishing off, basically pushing away his plate as he looks up towards, I guess, down towards the lot of you. Sort of a smirk. I believe what I used to be wasn't a true hero, a true adventurer. I was a god, too meek to stand the likes of owlbears, monsters, even bandits. I was just a dreamer, but I did my part. I fought for this town. I even served in the battle against the Black Fury. I did everything I can to try and live a life as close as I could to righteous and true. Didn't pan out that way, though.
Were you at the final battle?
No, I was sent to go scout the Black Mantle, truth be told. I was one of the few sent to clean up the mess, as it were. It's all I was really good for. And within those catacombs, I found what they had been working on, what they had been doing in the depths of those chambers. Something magical and wondrous and terrible, and it gave me a horrid thought in my head. That perhaps, if there were any stragglers, they would use it, find it, and begin where they left off. I had a heroic idea, and it killed me. I put my hand to tear this thing I found down, destroy this relic, but the moment I touched it, I was obliterated. Nothing. No pain, no moment of regret. Instant darkness. I was never found. I was never remembered. But I was not alone. Within oblivion, I heard a voice. Something that recognized the frustration, the anguish, the regret, the anger that I felt. As Timarkan, Sotalo, back to the scouting crew.
As I am
Back at
turning,
it again.
I just drop down to the wall and just shoot back towards the tower, just as quick as I can, just sort of leaping into the tower and going, basically jumping down onto this dude's body, making sure that nobody can see me from down below or from basically down below, since nobody else is up here. As I'm taking out a dagger, pulling the guy's arm up, and I'm cutting out his armpit. Not his actual armpit, just
Yeah, the particle thing, I get you.
just the armpit of his shirt. I'm cutting out 2 armpits.
Take a little bit of time. There's a leather patch there you can go through, and beneath, after you cut through most of it, you can see there is chain mail to cut through, but you can still get most of the actual material itself.
Yeah, I've got a decent amount of time to do this, so just say, Victolo, make your way to me when you are done.
As Patolo silently lands herself on the roof, she just knocks on the wood. Stay hidden. Stay hidden. You hear combat, the clashing of steel. Come out, but do so silently.
Give me a perception check.
Man, what are they doing?
Syntax error.
I don't have ears.
Oh, that's not good. Okay, well.
Womp womp womp.
Hey.
24.
Hey, there you go. As you tap, 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 whisper your words inside, you could just hear this soft scuffling as you hear. What is that? It's a voice. A familiar voice. Hello. As you hear.
Samantha's
Go on.
one of your masters.
Master!
Be still and be silent. If you hear the clashing of steel come out, be so silently.
Yes, Other Master. Gather your things. You will be ready to strike.
As you hear them sort of talking amongst each other. As during all
Yeah,
this, you would see the
Swithalo.
patrol making its way up north. I forgot to do that. They're making it about here.
Perfect.
Swithalo just knocks the wood twice again as she makes this 12 over here, and then doing yourself. Oh god, the dynamic lighting again has moving
okay, I
10
got you.
feet. Okay. Now I'll move out of the way so you don't like delete me too. No, well, dynamic lighting is on another
As
layer.
you run and get to this edge, so you can see where you're going.
With Hollow calling upon the power of her boots, taking her. Hang on, I got this. Her leap of faith. Whee! She just flings herself forward. I actually can't get on the. Whoops. Oh yeah, this is.
Okay, I got you. There you go.
Yeah,
we're just gonna hug
she
the
just
edge.
flings herself on the roof and then heads to the other side of the building. To where
As you are
Tamarcon.
now 30 feet up on top of this building. Just like this owl is. And you're making your way towards where Tamarcon is.
Yep. As agreed to the plan. And then
Okay.
towards that small building.
Okay,
Ish
I'm gonna
apple.
do this. Speed would be that. Use all that to jump. Okay. It might take you, if you dash, you might get there in about a turn. But
Nice.
we'll cover that
So
next
I'll
round.
do that.
Okay. As Tamarcon, is that what you're doing on your round? Just carving out a dude's armpit?
Yeah, probably take a little bit of time to just carve out some sweaty cloth.
Okay.
Hmm.
Anything you want to do, little imp? Anything you're up to? Just to make sure one stealthy dude.
Oh yeah, he moved. I'm just gonna move 80 feet every time we go back to them since he can dash for 80. So he can't get anywhere now, but he can get to where he is now.
Okay. Just getting there. And what about you, Spirit? You just hanging on the roof, just keeping your eyes around?
Seeing how the guards are rotating and keeping eye on Swift Hollow and Tamarcon, Spirit is going to... Tamar, you're on the northeast tower, right?
Northwest.
Northwest.
Northwest tower. Yes. Spirit is going to move to the north side of the roof and to keep watch for the patrol to give a little hoot, knowing they're coming around the corner.
Okay. I'm gonna ask for a stealth check, unless you're trying to make yourself known by the guards near you.
Okay. Spell check is fine.
Stealth check. Owls are good at that.
Check. Yeah.
Yes, that would be...
Give
Yes, there we go.
advantage? Ooh.
Yeah. As thankfully both the soft sound suppressing capabilities of owl feathers drawing you farther north and north till you get to the edge and land on this building, as well as what sounds to be some quiet, thunderous sounds echoing all throughout Oakwell. As you can hear, it sounds like the surrounding blocks are having just the craziest party going on, adding to your ability to remain silent. But you'll be able to land here without really catching any eyes. All right, as we'll cut back to the guild hall. Samantha.
So you found yourself in oblivion, but not alone. A friend? An enemy? Something you don't know just yet?
What I can only consider to be an ally. Someone who shared the same level of regret and frustration with the way that things were. Someone that offered me the opportunity to make undone those regrets. Something we shared, it seemed. A desire to save this world, to do good. But although many heroes have tried it, have done their part in nobility and righteousness, it was never truly enough. The world, as my sovereign has declared, cannot be saved. Not as it is. It must be undone, unraveled, and rebuilt. And so, that is what happened. From this darkness I found myself in, I was reformed. Once untalented, now bestowed with gifts and might that would rival even the champions of this world, even those such as yourself, perhaps even that of a dragon slayer.
Does your sovereign have a name?
My sovereign is my sovereign, and that is all they shall be called. But alas, it doesn't matter. What matters now is not who we once were or what names we were called. It is who we will become. Who I decided to become. I cast away my old self and pledged myself to a greater cause. Tearing down what once was and making things better. Even if it costs greatly. Even if it hurts myself or others. Even if it means tearing apart a town that I once called home. It is the first step towards truly saving this world.
From
I know
what?
It sounds like itself, if I'm understanding things correctly.
From the stagnation of every era. Every time the world turns. There is strife, there is conflict. Even the veil itself decides it must fall apart. And though it seems many would assume, to fix what is broken, it cannot be done without first tearing it to ribbons. And I think we have the key. As you can see him holding up his hand to his eye patch and pulling it away as something comes out of his head. As back to Tamarcon!
God damn it!
Does this guy got a hat on?
He does. He's got a big old helmet.
I grab the helmet, stick it on my head, turn. Disguise yourself in his grace. As again, the torch behind me just sort of starts to dim and flicker as I leap back onto the wall and then leap down onto the little outbuilding down below. Which you gotta move, mate.
One sec.
Shove myself through the darkness!
Down on top of this thing?
Yeah.
It is connected to a large tree that I don't have a thing for, so there's basically a giant tree it's attached to. If you're trying to jump on the roof, like over here, where there's more of a flat spot, I'll draw your time real quick. One second.
Actually, great if there's a big old tree thing. Then I just like hug the side of the tree and get to the roof and then just sort of put my head down and just listen to see if I hear movement down below.
All right.
With my little, since I've got a favored enemy, seems to be humanoid at the moment. I've got a knack for tracking things that I've been tracking for a bit. Got advantage to track them.
Certainly.
It's a tracker.
Listen to see if there's any buddies down here.
I would say, what's your, you have advantage, or it's not double proficiency, right?
Yeah, just advantage, I believe.
Okay, then give me advantage. I'd say survival check. Why not? Looking for signs as opposed to just listening. 15. I would say there's a moment of quiet, especially helpful since your body is basically suppressing all sound. It's almost like you're not even there to distract yourself from all these, surrounding ambience. You're sort of looking around for any signs, maybe through any of the cracks in the ceiling, any signs that there's someone beneath you. It seems strangely dark. Your dark vision able to peek through and illuminate with soft gray light. It seems as if the chapel down here has been overthrown and overturned, but there's no soul inside.
Nothing in the outbuilding. Moving to the alleys with Tolo. Meet you there.
To the garden.
If you
I
can,
move my
check the
token.
chicken window. Chicken window? Kitchen window.
Chicken window.
The
No, it's
chicken window.
Yeah, it's indifferent.
It's a window. We made it. It's in the shape of a chicken.
Okay, so you're just heading towards the gardens of Tolo across the roof.
Yep.
I'm gonna ask for a stealth check. Although you're very good at them, but we'll see.
I'm very, very good at them, especially with the magic of my lookalike.
It's like a minimum of like 35.
I
Oh
know.
boy, everything's
Okay.
breaking. Okay, I'll roll it, and then 38.
There you go.
As quietly as a ghost, you would make your way across the roof, your footsteps muffled by the sound of the magic cloaking you as you'd make your way to the other side of this roof, close to the garden.
Through the window, I'll see if I can draw the others into the alley.
You're going down like along the roof. So like doing like this, going along the roof, get close to the window. You can make it about here if you're dashed, unless you're double dashing.
I think I can double dash. And yeah, so we'll quickly wickedly calculate the variables to accelerate her going down.
As you would make your way down, you'd see there definitely is a window. It seems like light's actually shutting out from the outside of this building, or from the inside outside, illuminating a part of the garden. It would take you going down from the roof to actually see at the level inside, unless you're looking around the second floor.
I don't know. Checking the light.
Okay, so you have to crawl. Oh, yeah, you'd have to crawl down the rest of your
kind
movement.
of see through.
You have to crawl down the rest of your movement to get down to the window, basically, because the window's like up for the kitchen.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so the rest of your movement sliding
make
down, making it just about there as you peek inside the window, and you see what you see. Some soft light illuminating into the kitchen. You can see what looks to be the stove, or I guess the great old oven, like the furnace, the hearth inside. It looks like it hasn't been used in a bit. You do see it like peeking around the actual open doorway that would lead to the garden to the south. You do see a couple like shadowed shapes, sort of like turning, but like sort of swaying to and fro in conversation, as it does seem like there are a couple people down there.
Jordan, can you pan the stream down a bit? Thank you. All right.
Here we go.
There we go. Because it's still loading in. All right. This whole reports that. Seems to be a couple at the entrance.
Good. I'll draw them into the alleyway. You strike from this side, I'll strike from behind.
All right. Familiars, you guys up to anything? You just hanging out?
Flutter, flutter.
Flutter, flutter, flutter.
Yeah, my familiar is still keeping an eye on waiting for the patrol to round the corner. So spirits try and like watch their patterns and then just get ahead of them so that when they start rounding corners, Spirit can warn Swift Hall and Tamarcon so they can get out of sight.
Gotcha.
Yeah. My imp warns Swift Hall and Tamarcon that right outside the door of the kitchen, there are 2 guards. What is that one doing? Oh, is that a torch? That's a torch.
Yeah, he seems like he's holding a torch. There's no lot of light around here, so he's sitting there holding a light source.
Good. As expected. We take them in the alley.
All right.
But keep moving a bit, keeping away from them. Just kind of trying to peer into these windows. So yeah, there's still 2 guards in that room. In the far room down here.
Seems like that's what you spotted.
Where Kobold's live. Yep, and then
Perfect.
this way down here. I don't see any of the other adventure-like people, though. That's it.
Okay.
Sweetheart, I'm making my way to you. If you could make sure that window's unlocked and there's no one else inside.
As
Othello quickly checks the window.
seems like the window can be
Silent
opened.
Fingers. All right. It's unlocked.
Perfect.
Cutting back to the main hall.
Othello knocks herself to the alleyway.
You'd use
In
armor
position.
to get basically here, buddy.
Ah, yes, you are correct. All
You gotta
right.
climb down a building.
Right. All right. Waiting for the next round.
Okay. As in the guild hall, you'd see Mordred Kane pull his hand away from his face, and he holds. Well, I guess it really can't be said to be holding anything. The object that moves from his body as if it were a part of him doesn't even touch his hand. It simply floats. It's small, maybe about the size of what presumed to be an eyeball, a marble, something small enough to conceal on his person. And it is utterly featureless, save for its strangely, perfectly spherical form. Despite all the light I guess, all the candlelight that seems to be held before him, despite even the eldritch sight that Samantha has to absorb every ounce of light around her, to pick up on as much detail as she can, even in these darkened environments. This tiny object that floats in Mordred Kane's hand can't be detailed. It can't be described as anything other than a small black sphere. As you see him looking down upon it, the iPad sort of sliding back into place. It is smaller
Body
than what it
trick.
once was. Not quite as powerful, but I hold in my hand the key to all of this. The orchestrator of the end. A great and powerful tool of my sovereign, and my very destroyer. As he holds his hand out, you can see just like a slight gesture, this object silently just begins to float down through the air towards you guys, as getting closer and closer, it is oddly familiar looking.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like what we saw in Obsidius's cave.
Interesting, Mordred. Very interesting.
As he'll sort of like stop and like motion his hand back as the orb begins to make his way back towards him. It is a part of me now. As such, I have sworn myself to its power and its cause. It is destruction incarnate, although it is, well, dormant as of yet. But I know the secrets, the means to feed and strengthen it, so that more can be done to unravel this world. It is my task, a task that, well, I hope to extend upon you. As back to Timbercon.
Well, wait, quick. While that thing's moving, where's my sword at?
You don't see it.
Scan in the room.
Give me a perception check for scanning.
Oh boy.
I'm trying to get a read
I guess technically
on-
with disadvantage, because you are looking out in darkness.
I'm also trying to get a read of the room. I know the guards are like wearing helmets, but you know, nonverbal body language can say a lot. And
Sure.
as this thing goes up and down the table, Percy wants to get a read on maybe how they feel about it, because she's freaked out.
Yeah. Give me a insight check, Persephone. Yes, Kuldar, you are scanning around the room. Again, normally your elven eyes are quite adept at picking up on objects, and you have dark vision. It can carry your eyes even through these darkened areas, but with the dim light, it does sort of obscure your vision. You do see, it looks like Mordred Kane does have some equipment at his side, like sitting next to him within the chair. But the exact details of what those are, it looks like he does have a weapon on him, or maybe two, but it's hard to discern what it is from this distance. And with even, it seems to be put to the shadow between him and this candle he's sort of sitting in front of. Hard to really tell, but it does seem like he has something on him.
Can I leave a parting question before we cut back over?
Sure.
Interesting indeed. Though I have to wonder, Mordred, why go about things this way? Why assault everything I've worked for? Why not simply talk to me?
Time is pressing. Things are moving far faster for this prestigious valiant vanguard than I had hoped or planned for. This guild hall, wonderful as it is, it changed what I had hoped for, and so drastic actions were needed. So says the Sovereign. Persephone, your insight check reading the rooms, trying to pick up on the guards around. Mordred Kane seems like he is simply sort of just reveling in this moment. He seems like he's in a position of power and control that he is simply just, he's just drinking in now, confidently moving around this strange object. The guards around you, they're kind of hard to discern despite their helmets, but you can see from their body language as you're sort of observing, They're standing again, sort of similar to that one guard you had a very direct connection with, very on guard. It seems like that this situation, they aren't quite as relaxed or as comfortable as Mordred Kane is. They are, I would say, with that high insight check, you'd probably assume they're already anticipating arms to be drawn. They have their hands sort of resting above their weapons, eyeing you guys very carefully. As back to Tamar Khan and Sotalo, scout crew.
Back at it again.
As I run and jump the fuck off the edge of this thing, as I slightly glide down to where Slipped Hollow is, although more off to her left, heading for the alleyway. As I sort of leap down in this direction. Let's see. It was like 10 to get there. 30. As I make my way around the corner, as I way just around to the edge here, as it seems like there's a little bit of dim light where I am, right? Peeking around the corner.
Definitely
Coming out
is.
these windows.
Mm-hmm.
As I don on the helmet, as I poke my head out the other side, as my face is mostly still shrouded in darkness a little bit, but it's certainly obvious there's a dude there. Hey, you! Found a fucking hole in the chapel. Some of those other dumbasses missed. Help me out with this. Like where those kobolds are. As I turn back around, as a step of the wind, I shoot the fuck up to the side of the building.
All right. As first of all, I'm gonna need a deception check.
Yeah. I'm gonna use my DM inspiration. I'm
There you
pretty,
go.
I'm getting used to being silver-tongued, but I'm getting a little bit more practice on it, and I think maybe just a little bit more, I might have quite a bit of expertise in it. But not quite yet. 16.
As you see them looking at each other for a brief moment when you speak and then dart around, you can hear the voice from around the corner. Shit, did it dig its way back in? Fuck, we're supposed to catch that thing. As they start to, you can hear sounds of footsteps. Start to make their way carefully around here, although they're not really sprinting, they're more just cautiously fast walking, one next to the other. The one with the torch would be leading because they can't see too well.
As I just get to the top of the building, looking over the edge, no, here they come. You get the one in front, I get the one in back.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's about as far as I can make it. As they are being cautious and quiet. Uh-oh, no, too big.
The torch
doesn't
explodes.
Wait until he turns the corner. Almost. So I'm just waiting until he's like right at the corner, so Swift Hollow can just fucking.
Yeah, I know Swift
pop
Hollow's
his
like
ass.
positioned like kind of in it, but it's really just Swift Hollow like peering down the hallway.
As they will very carefully, with one more step, I guess if you're waiting, start to go around the corner.
As I leap from the top.
Swift Hollow with her blade drawn, stab it into this guy's neck.
All right, give me the attacks with advantage.
Oh
I
yeah.
believe in you guys.
Ooh, a crit!
Woo!
No, is it?
Bring
No.
my club down, double-handed,
I
right on
always
top of this
crit.
fucker's head. Oh,
When
I
these
don't
guys
have my
don't
shit
expect
on right
it.
now. Let me unclick this thing. This bar comes clamping down on his head. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, both those will connect. As you see Sotali, your knives come swinging together, cutting into this guy in one fell swoop, catching him between the folds of his armor and his helmet as he lets out this sort of gurgling sound as his mouth opens, blood starts to spill out as he is swiftly undone by your blade. As Tamar Khan, big old staff coming down, swinging like a great mallet on top of his head, bashes into the top of his helmet with a loud resounding boom. I guess I've suppressed because of your magic. But you can see as he hits, he starts to fall back against the ground, but then hits the wall between himself and I guess the wall behind him. As he stammers into it, as the blow is hardy, but he's still on his feet, somewhat just shaken.
I just spin it around, try to smack him into the other side of his head with the staff as well.
All right.
Rest of my attack. Slamming on home.
Normal
Slamming
attack.
in one hand.
Ooh, as that'll connect.
Crunching in for 12.
As you swing your staff against his body, you see him bash up against the wall heartily. He coughs up this big old gout of blood as his body seems crumpled but still standing.
And with one last little push.
I can finish him off next round.
I got plenty of more attacks.
Yeah, he's a monk.
Okay. Oh yeah, wait.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, you have. Right. I forgot.
just
Sometimes I
one,
forget you're a
one
monk.
last bonus action.
Kinda.
I just twist my hand and just lay a fist up into his gut, just knocking the air out of his mouth. Can't even shout, and just trying to knock his lights out, taking all the air out of him. Hey,
That'll connect.
crunching him.
Hit him in the gut, I'm assuming. Non-lethal or killing him.
Yep, non-lethal. Just pushing the air out of his head, but the rest of the damage just fucking putting it on his lights.
As he falls to his
Damn,
knees,
watch
hits
your
the ground
lights.
hard, and then just thuds to the ground.
West side is clear. We're heading to the hostages now. Mr. Talo, back to the roof.
Is the patrol coming around the corner?
Seems like at that point the patrol would make it about, that was 2 rounds technically actually. Make it about here now.
Batalo extinguishes the torch.
So that was technically 2 rounds of fighting. I want 2 rounds of pitch dialogue because I'm on the edge of my seat, Omen, and you're
All
killing
right.
me with this.
Technically,
I
it was
want
1
12
round.
seconds of plot.
There was actually just 1 round.
Yeah,
Well, they had to move again.
It was 1 round of move and then 1 round of actual combat. So yeah,
Alright,
took me a
then-
round to
okay,
get into
yeah.
position and then a round to kill.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm mostly
Batalo
memeing.
also extinguishes the torch. Just using
12
her torch,
seconds
she
instead
just,
of 6 seconds.
yeah. And she just,
Torch
you know,
extinguished.
I just pop
Nicely
the
done.
helmet. No, I keep the helmet on. Fuck it.
With the,
Fine,
she
With
just
the
uses
patrol.
this guy's bleeding body. Just using that blood.
Okay.
With the
What's that?
patrol
Easy
passing
water.
through, Spirit's just gonna let out a casual hoot.
Like the patrol is by the window. Let's get there before they make a whole nother round again.
And then with the hoot, just anticipating where they're gonna go and just try to make it onto like the western.
Still gonna try to move
side
the
of
bodies
roof.
into the kitchen.
Nice. Woohoo.
No, it's fine here. The other patrol has not come this far. Did you see anyone else in the kitchen? No, from the window.
No,
Perfect.
it was just those 2.
Then let's get those hostages. Seems like we might need to go through the window though.
Okay. Yeah, it seems as if, what were you saying, Persephone? Just want to double check. It's fine to the western side?
Yeah, but also I'm very bad at remembering layout, so it's probably more like around here. As far as it can move.
You can move quite
Doing
far.
it
You are a
here.
flying bird with like 60 or 100?
I think it's
65.
60.
Yeah.
Yeah, so probably about here.
Nice. Just flying on the roof there.
Yep, just trying to get ahead of the patrol. Hoot, whatever.
Just a quiet, I guess, somewhat muffled sound due to all the partying going on, but still the sound of an owl hooting. And Mr. Imp, is there anything you want to do? Or we still want to skip you? No?
Nick?
Imp's just hanging out?
Nick, you're imp.
Oh yeah, you guys did do 2 rounds. Yeah, he's gonna fly past this door, just flutter down here. Not gonna see anything. So yeah, he's just gonna get to here. He's just gonna have to do a perimeter check.
Sure. Just generally looking around.
Mostly try to locate those other people.
Okay. Hard to say. There's not a ton of windows that offer light in from where you've been looking. You've found hostages. You've found maybe on one side looks like the meeting they're having, but from now you can't really actually see where the other more capable seeming adventurers lie in this place. They might be deeper within. That's all you want to do?
Yeah, those 8 feet.
As it cuts back to Mordecai, you can see now he holds out his hand. This tiny little orb floats up back to his eye, although he does keep it sort of just askew next to his eye patch, sort of just keeping it floating above his shoulder as he turns back to the group. It happened oh so fast. Faster than I guess either of us had anticipated. This town, it is wonderful in so many ways, but it has become rotten and spoiled. People do not come here for glory or kindness, they come here for coin and glamour. No better than those who kiss the feet of broken rich nobles trying to win their way up. Though it is not the feet of rich men and women they kiss, but the bellies of beasts they slay to earn their keep. And I had
What?
wondered, What would happen to Mobia if this bastion of adventurers was taken? What would happen if all those men and women who cut themselves into different sections, different hands, as it were, pulled together under one? This town is vast and growing, ever growing. But it is adventurers who are the true strength, as you have seen today. Those who would call themselves its defenses, its guards. They do not hold a candle to the might of those who fight monsters for a living. What if we gathered more, brought all adventurers together, and destroyed the very foundation that's been keeping this disgusting little cycle in play, and bring them under one cause, one true righteous cause?
So you agree with us, then?
I think we just have a difference in what that cause should be. Though I'm curious, though, what your interpretation of glory truly is, Mordred. You say the world is stuck in this cycle of people chasing after coin, but coin and glory seem to be inseparable. Do you hope to break that cycle? Remove the need for wealth and power?
I simply wish to see this world where men call themselves righteous, heroes, valiant, and remove all the unnecessary. Take away all the claims of glory and the parades walking down our streets, the great showmanship they have to flaunt their power, and put it to actual use. Not simply to spread, not simply to exist in greater numbers and be known, but to do something great. Like a real hero would, like the Three Kings would, but not even like them. They are held back by morals, but not Hell's Hydras. We'll take our swords, our axes, we'll cut down everything that stands in our path that would keep this stagnant system in place. It all begins by taking down what holds this town together. All by destroying. I suppose, truly, isn't it? Destroying Oakwell.
So wait. You're doing all of this for some misguided belief that you're the world's savior or something? What are you, 5?
So to turn his head towards you, Luna. Such an ignorant thing for a condescending bitch to say. For someone who has never truly met destiny. Tell me, what pompous brought upbringing did you have to think you could speak down on others as you have on myself? I've heard your tongue before, and I've felt its lash. And yet here you are, without your armor, without your arms, sitting and listening to a story, so that you may hope to save your friends, hope to save your town. Why? Why do you call yourself heroes and valiant? Why do you act as you do, and yet you display yourselves in such a cockamamie way? I just can't stand it.
Oh, did I hurt your little feelings?
Luna.
Let us not antagonize our guest. Mordred has a lot on his mind, it seems. And some of it I understand. Some of it I've seen before. I wonder what has guided you in this direction. Has warped your perception of things to be so different, so enlightened. I wish you had spoken to me, Mordred. I am far more amicable than I think even you or your little advisor, as she sort of changes her snake's direction, sort of pointedly moving them in this sort of down and to the left angle so that they obviously are looking to the right of him at such a great distance. I may have informed you. You have pulled yourself to this righteous cause at the advisement of your sovereign, that which has given you instruction. Fair. It has been done before. It will be done again. But in destroying Oakwell, do you hope to have more join your cause? How will you inspire people? With fear and power?
I have no intention of inspiring anything but fear in those who would cross me. I am here to save the world. I do not need followers who would kiss my feet and call me God or King. I need those who see the truth to join me, or those who see nothing but the lie placed before them to fall before me. And I assure you, the power I have been given cannot be stopped. It will press onward and onward towards those who oppose me. As you see him moving this orb through the air, and then it starts to move down towards the table. And nothing will ever stop Oblivion, as it just seems to sink down into the table. There's no ripping or tearing sound. You just see it sink into the material and rise up, as there is now just this perfectly spherical, destroyed hole in the obsidian. And you say, talk to you, Samantha. Talk to you. Ever since you came to this town, I, who I used to be, had tried so hard to earn your eye. So hard to earn your favor, yet you turned away from me. Because I was weak. But not anymore. Now I do not seek you as a greater, as a hero, as an inspiration. I hold out an invitation to you, valiant vanguard, those worthy of its title or those simply posing it. A choice. You will not leave this guild hall as the valiant vanguard. You will die here, or you will join the Hell's Hydra's cause. You will pursue true, righteous heroism in this great, global endeavor, and you will pay the price for your vain and righteous actions, for sullying the name of true heroes. The choice is yours, and my patience has been thinned. Your decision is yours. And for the sake of your allies, your friends, your pets, and your patron, I would decide quickly. As back to Timocon! He's not happy, guys. He didn't appreciate that.
Let's go.
Yeah, I've never seen an incel be a BBEG before, but I love it.
As
The best BBGs.
yeah, as we just shoot up to the top of the building and just start hopping our little happy asses over to the northeast above where the window is, leading into where the hostages are.
All right.
Bunny Rabbit's with Holler
One sec.
on her way to go kill some more guards.
It will be a hard sprint. It's about 120 feet just to get to there. So you guys
Probably take 2 rounds. I can go 90 feet in a turn.
40,
Nice.
80.
So a couple turns.
I can make it.
Nice.
2 turns. Got 12
Just
seconds to
with
get
Holler,
over
shit,
there.
there she is!
Hollow devotes
There,
all her
okay.
stamina and mental energy.
Oh shit, there they are!
Ah!
As you're making your
Hang
way
on, you
up
do not
towards-
see us. Whoosh, 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 whoosh.
That's 6 seconds
Ooh,
back.
over the table.
Excuse us,
Don't
part is
even-
coming through.
Yep, excuse me, pardon me. Yep.
As you guys make your way to the edge of the roof, at this point you'd see the still continuing to move. Looks like the patrol has been making its way further to the west over here. You can see the torchlight illuminating this guard walking along with this dog, who doesn't seem to notice your presence due to all your stealthy magic.
So it's all a change of plans. Patrol now. As I string my bow out.
That's with Hollow pulls out her crossbow and loads it.
I'll go for the dog first.
Right. So I'll shoot the dog.
All right, aiming your crossbow unseen. Give me that attack with advantage.
They never saw it coming. Diddly do. Crit range is 1. It's coming. Hang on.
It's coming.
Oh.
Ooh, as that'll
There you
definitely connect. On top of the roof, aiming your crossbow. Bolt goes flying, strikes this beast in the back of his head. You can see its mouth open up, and for a moment, there's like a sort of billow of, looks like fire and smoke until this thing hits the ground hard, falls dead. As the guy next to him turns and looks in surprise.
His arrows are just fucking raining down on his ass.
As Swift Hollow uses her bonus action, able to use her newly found trophy, as also capitalizing on her assassinate. Takes some, knocks a shot. I'll set this guy.
All right.
Sneak attack,
Give me those attack rolls, guys. No sneak attack roll. Ooh, shit. As that bolt will come flying and connect.
20 damage.
Nice. As that bolt digs deep into his back as he sort of reaches up to catch at it. Next bolt or arrow flying and hitting him. Give me those damage rolls.
Do we have advantage since we're up on the roof in the darkness?
You would have on the first one until he starts turning around. There is some torchlight here, or campfire light. But 6 and.
Oh, I didn't have my thing on. Shit. The first one was an obsidian arrow because it was the thing.
Gotcha.
Hold on. So that was the second shot. This is the next one. No, I still didn't have it clicked. Fucked.
Roll us a die.
Shit.
2d6. 2d6. Come on, babies. 2 arrows go flying.
Just
to the
one.
air.
Only one was obsidian. The first one was
Gotcha.
obsidian. So it's 6 and 19.
All right, as those bolts go, our first arrow comes flying, catches this guy in the side again. He starts to hold onto that wound as he does let out a noise. As and the next bolt or the next arrow comes flying, catches him in the back of the head. You can see a bit of spark and smoke come from the wound as he just falls down to the dead to the ground, dropping his torch. As roll me a d20, Tamarcon.
Oh boy, we don't even know if he wants to be high or low.
Hey, I'm hoping high is good.
As he lets out this noise, starts to fall to the ground, you hear this, for a moment, suddenly like shaking boom sound. Almost sounds like he hits the ground like a thunderous bolt until you hear. As it sounds like the elephant just happened timing, kept the surrounding
Great
party
job, elephant.
as this sort of ambient noise, keeping seems to be probably the rest of the party from hearing the sound.
Oh god.
Open the window. I'll be right back. As I use, since I got plenty of movement left, I'm just going to use the last bit of my movement to jump over to the other wall here, get myself closer to these bodies.
Yeah. Before Taekwondo leaves, he just hears Swift Hollow muse. I do like this case. And yeah, she hops on down and checks the window.
All right, hopping on down, checking the window. You'd be able to peek inside very carefully and stealthily, and you would see, it looks like a number of people tied up, one of them on this large bed. It seems like the room is now guarded by a couple of guards, one more well-armored than the other one you had faced before. As...
Negotiations are breaking down, my friends. Ultimatums being given. I do not know how much longer I can keep him.
Lie, beg, and please, seduce, whatever you can, we need time.
Just a little more.
All right, as well. And this is anything else? The familiars? You guys up to anything?
Yeah, the familiar is the spirit's just going to go to the other side of the building. Probably from here can have witnessed, at least at the very edge, the assassination of the patrols.
The assassination of the patrols. Flying your way back to sort of a similar spot.
Yeah.
Also, Swift Hollow does use her item interaction to quietly lift the window up.
Okay. Stealth check. Can't beat that. You're fine.
Yeah. Perk here.
Very good.
Guard, hoot.
Is this
coming? Sweet Hollow.
Window openable?
It does look like it.
Try to open it. Is it attempt to open it?
Okay. I will ask for a stealth check from you, as unless you're trying to just open it normally, trying to be quiet about it. It's Just be sliding it open. You don't have the crazy, passively ridiculous, unbreakable high score that Swift Hollow has. Nice. Very carefully finding like one edge of it to lift, pulling against the mechanism, and then sliding it aside. Little imp gets to fly on side invisible.
It's about 7. He's gonna like move to the door and just prepare. Really trying to look for people.
As the tiny little doll-sized imp invisible flies over to the door and has to prepare itself, how is it going to open this large person-sized door? Is that its turn? Okay. As back inside the guild hall, Mordecai sort of seems to be leaning over the edge of the table. You can see his face sort of like getting red as he seems to be a bit flustered and upset as seems to be waiting for a response from you guys.
Mr. Kane, or if there's any other way you would prefer me to address you, do you have a plan? You say you're going to fix things. Do you know how?
It all begins with throwing things into disarray. Skyreach has assumed a silent position. If Oakwell falls, if the adventurers are scattered, and even now, with great and powerful nobility, hidden away in this town, surrounded by our blades, you will have time to act, time to press on to the next phase. Though it is very important all things go accordingly tonight, with or without you.
Mordred, you say you were a god in this town at one point.
I did.
And what do you know of me? Surely you understand I really have no ties to this place.
I know you by a title, a shield of Zamaria. I know not what it means, but it speaks highly of a knight who has sworn to a task just as I am. What are you sworn to, knight? You sworn to this town, sworn to a king? Would you swear yourself to this cause? Or do you have any ties at all?
Tell me, what is your plans for Tyrion?
Just like the rest, one by one, as things begin to unfurl. Perhaps the Sovereign has more than just myself, more champions eager to press their cause. Perhaps Tyrion will fall to this task, though perhaps they will fall on their own swords, those war-seeking elves.
You are right. I turned my nose to you since you lacked power. Power I could not use for myself, though earnest you were. And now you have found yourself tangled up in something that is powerful, but I am sure terrifying. Matthew.
He sort of turns his head away.
But I am amicable. And I am sorry for what has happened. I was selfish and self-centered and cast you aside without even a true answer. All of my attention focused on him, trying to see if that name reconnoiters anything in him.
It definitely seems like the moment you said Matthew, sort of like just turns his head away.
Telepathically to Samantha. Literally who?
I don't deserve your forgiveness, I can understand your anger and frustration. I have felt similar. You find yourself roped into this cause, and I want to offer you nothing but mercy.
Mercy.
Not from myself, but I do not wish you any harm, Matthew. Mercy from what will harm you should you turn against it. We can work together. I promise you that. It is not the words of a cornered beast that speaks to you now. One may say it is foolhardy, but my confidence does not allow me to feel cornered. It is an enlightened one. I see what you are capable of with enough drive, which you have accomplished in spite of a painful beginning. And I am inspired by it. But I do not want this to end with more pain and bloodshed from anyone. I want to help you get what you want, Matthew. I do not know if it is like this or like the form you so feverishly knew, but I offer myself to you. If only you would tell me truly what it is you want. As I sort of just stick out both of my hands, both sort of towards him, but also at the same time to the sides. Like I'm trying to both offer myself and welcome him.
Roll me either a persuasion roll or deception roll, depending on what your intentions are.
Do you loof him? Does
Aye.
Samantha really loof him?
Can I roll a persuasion? Can I roll a perception check?
Perception. I perception him.
As one or the other, my friend.
Are you trying to convince him, or are you trying to sound convincing? To be convincing.
As I'm going to utilize that spicy little inspiration that's already on my sheet.
Go for it, baby.
And I do want this to end without bloodshed if at all possible, so I will roll persuasion.
Nice. As you see, like he keeps averting his eye away from you as you speak. The more you say that name, but finally, as your speech comes to a culmination, a conclusion, he sort of like just closes his eye and turns it back to you. I would accept your offer. However, the man you are trying to appeal to died a long time ago. There is nothing of him that remains, just faint memories of regret and a desire for something greater. If you offer yourself, Samantha, you offer it as Hell's Hydras, and you will offer everything you have to see this task complete. I will take no half measures. I will take nothing that I used to want. It doesn't matter now. I have been made hollow and torn asunder and brought back in a more perfect form, a more perfect mind, with greater drive than Matthew North ever possessed.
I see.
As unless there's anything else to say,
2 rounds are gonna pass for that long ass speech. Well done, Samantha.
I don't feel like this is fair. We only get 12 seconds. As I am hopping down and running over to this dead body, scooping up a torch, and running back over to Swiftfellow. What do we have inside, Swiftfellow? I just
How's
tossed
that?
it. What do we have inside? So I just tossed the torch onto the bonfire.
Heavily armored and one lightly armored.
And so I just sort of dive across the light, making sure that people can't get a glimpse of me as I go as fast as I can. I says, got my strength, as once again, a little bit of that strange orange energy starts to leak up my arms and legs. Can you distract him away from the window so we can get a jump?
Just all the things about this for a moment, and then, well, you can't really see, but you can sort of see the movements as she starts to move her arm a bit, doing mystic symbols. As actually, wait, let me go double check the range because I'm pretty sure I'm okay, but also sometimes I forget ranges. She does cast some minor illusion.
Yeah.
Range is 30 feet. Oh yeah, it is as short as I thought it was. All right, let me make sure. Oh, just barely.
Okay.
Yeah,
Peeking
as
in.
for Hollow. Yes, sir.
I was saying, so you're just peeking in, looking inside. Window's now open. Holding out your hand. It seems like you'll need to use a hand gesture to actually summon forth this magic, so it doesn't make any noise. Good shit.
Yep. As she just makes a hand gesture, as from I guess where this axe is, it just makes a clattering sound. Something
Clattering sound?
just yeah, just like a ding, as if like the axe is falling. Something short, something soft, but still demands attention. Just the smallest sliver of them not looking at the window.
So just a very quiet, localized sound. I'm assuming.
Essentially.
Okay.
Ding, 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 ding!
Ding, 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 ding.
It sounds as almost if like the sound emanates. It almost sounds as if this axe you could barely peek through the distance had just been like lifted and dropped. The same sort of metallic like boom it would make when it hits the ground. Just sort of resonates down here, as both guards sort of stop and like turn to look. What was with that?
As in the same action of casting minor illusion as her bonus action, Swithella poisons her blades. Poisons her blade.
Okay.
Go.
As quiet as shadow, 2 blades are coming at this guy's exposed neck.
All right, give me those attacks. Or I guess attack.
As before she does that, on her second turn, with her bonus action now, she also poisons the other blade. How does that work, Omen? Poisons on one blade, poisons on both blades, and I attack with both of them at the same time, technically.
I would say stack them. Why not?
Yeah! Hell yeah, as one blade is poisoned as her main blade is poisoned with Superior, and her offhand is poisoned with Superior as well. So 2 doses. As that's all my Superior poison gone. Good night, Superior poison.
Alright, give me that attack roll. To me. As it seems like these guys are unaware of you in this moment.
99. As
no, the poison
has to make.
Good thing I have 25.
2 con saves.
2 con saves. DC 16.
All right. As the poison strikes into his body, let's actually do this first. 42 plus 17. Nice.
42,
that first
51, 59 without poison.
Ooh. As what's that? It's half damage on that. 14. Wow. As he doesn't have to make the save. Those 2 poison blades stinking down into his neck and twisting and pulling. Immediately he lets out this gurgling sound, but suppressed by the sound of the blade, lodging itself in his esophagus. This guy immediately just drops into your arms.
Right. So I just launch myself into the window, roll, jump over these motherfuckers,
out of the way.
Bounce up off the wall, and Swiftfellow guts the shit out of this dude as I come down, bar in hand, just trying to crash it across this guy's, well, I guess the back of his head, as I try to just send him crumpling to the ground, as I strike out twice, 2 quick strikes, crack, crack.
Oh,
Maybe
first attack will be with advantage, as you'll swing and crash into his body. As that first bar strike will connect.
Crunching in for
Ooh.
16.
As that glowing bar, is assuming it's glowing bar.
Yeah, it's glowing.
Go. As you're
Oh, it
swinging.
doesn't have the obsidian. No shit.
First 11 then.
No, I gotta roll D4.
D4. Roll that D4, baby.
There we go.
Hey,
13.
As you swing this bar into his head, or I guess his upper body, crashing into it, he lets out this sort of grunt sound as the bar swings around the other side. As this time he sort of raises his arms, and it just seems like the bar strikes heartily. There's a loud, or I guess a muffled sound hitting his chainmail as it strikes him, but just fails to break through his armor.
As I wheel back my hands and just pummel into him, one hand connecting into his stomach, and then a kick bring up onto the side of his head, trying to knock him the fuck out with a little bit of flurry of blows. Where my flurry of blows at?
Flurry of blows!
Striking in the first one, seeing if I can put in a little bit of key as I strike in. I don't have my fucking shit selected again. There we go, 10 damage.
Oof,
as I strike in and send ki just rippling through his body as I try to stunning strike him.
Nice. As this energy runs through his body, he tries to resist it. 14.
Hey, doesn't do it. Just barely fails.
Nice.
A 15 save as the other fish just comes cracking into his, or I guess the leg comes cracking into the side of his head. This time with advantage.
Oh, that'll connect.
Crunching in with another 12 damage.
As that strike hits him, he sort of lets out a noise, but it's sort of muffled and slurring as he is currently stunned, and you can't speak properly when you're stunned, as he sort of just goes, hits against the wall and falls unconscious to the ground.
With an item interaction, I just reach out and just grab onto his, just the front of his shirt or so, and just haul him into the room. To the door of the door.
9, 10, 11, 12. As going to close it?
Ended?
Yep, suppose I'll close it. As he starts counting to herself. 12. Does the scene end for us?
You guys have one more round.
Group are secured, but not quite yet. Not safe.
I grant you guys one more quick round.
I'll milk as much time as I can, but prepare for things to go loud.
Cut some of you free, as I'm gonna start to cut the kobolds free. There's a tower just outside. We need to clear the patrol. This is where you all go, yes? Out the window.
Yeah, yes. As you get through these guys, you see they're no longer covered, and it looks to be their large scale mail. It seems to be they're just basically naked at this point. They don't have their armor or anything on them. The guards, a couple of them actually in here seem to be missing their armor. The other ones just seem to have it like tousled and upturned, not really offering any protection. Also disarmed.
I just basically cut like one or two of them free, just easy enough so they can get out the rest of them. Don't know. Let's get this patrol. As I run back out the window, peek my head around the corner to see what we're looking at.
Oh yeah. Right,
just peeking around, you'd see. It looks like a couple
no,
guards.
I'm like semi-invisible.
It's really
in the darkness.
As you would peek around the corner in the dim light, you'd see just the edge of this torchlight where it looks like a couple of guards are stationed at this other doorway. Seems like they were out keeping watch.
I only see two in the east. Are there any more hiding? As I send it mostly towards Persephone and Luna, our scouty boys in the sky.
As familiars, you got a couple rounds on you. What do you want to do? Just hold position.
Tamarcon sees the two there.
I did knock that guy out. He's okay.
So, Spirit's gonna take a moment to just give a quick fly around the other side. That's not 60 feet. That's probably around here. I guess if Spirit's dashing, like fast flying.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it can go 120 feet.
Hell yeah. Yeah, just giving
Just doing laps.
Yeah, just doing a quick lap around the side of the guild hall that she hasn't seen for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then gives just 2 hoots. Because the entire time it's just been one hoot for one seeing thing, so hoot hoot.
All right.
Seems like this is it. Still more time. 3-4 minutes tops. We'll be in position by then.
As little familiar, what are you up to?
Let's try and open this door.
All right, door easily opens enough. You fly up, take a hold of the door handle, turn it around with your little invisible hand, and boop.
Just gonna keep flying through.
As you
Good.
fly around the corner, you can see it looks like inside this room the door is open. As you peek around, you can hear sort
Close
of
that door.
Like behind you?
Yeah.
Gotcha, sure. 1 second. Doors closing sounds. You'd fly past an open door leading into what seems to be, oh, that's wrong. Leading into what seems to be a, looks like the study, something that Swift Hollow, I guess, had tried to claim at some point. But inside, you would catch immediately going around the corner the shape of this individual stepping forth, sort of like peeking around, trying to look past a dude closer towards the center of this room, as you find yourself almost completely falling upon what looks to be one of the higher-ups of the Hell's Hydras. His eyes seem to be glued towards this door down here and his ally, sort of like his shoulders hunched, his hand on his chest, just quietly listening.
I'm just gonna tell the group one of the people that were in this room, in the room currently behind. Is that a door? There's like a door right here, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so
The
they're right
door
behind you.
closed? Oh yeah. Wait, hold on. I think the door's closed. Yeah. Yeah. The door behind Luna, the door behind us, is currently occupied by another guard and one of those higher ups, as he's going to immediately try and move away from him.
Okay. I'm gonna need a stealth troll because you got really close and now you're flapping as quietly as you can.
Took that advantage.
Ooh, you're doing good. Very carefully and quietly, like just barely fluttering your little wings, you managed to pull away from this guy as he doesn't seem to notice you. Going to this room seems to be completely empty. Looks like it's a room used for parchment writing, letters, and the like, usually for gathering and sending messages.
I assume we action to free the people.
Yeah.
Fine. Alright, yeah, Swift Hollow is also still counting 13, 14, 15, 16.
Okay, good. Land just put his ear against this door to see if there's anyone on the other side.
Give me a perception roll.
In for MVP!
Yep, ear inside. You can hear this soft, like, sounds like just the dripping of water, but nothing really giving way to life inside. Just seems quiet ambience.
Dash to keep moving.
You dash north for a bit. Your devil sight carrying you into this room. I guess like seeing a door shutting before you very quietly, as it seems like action is being taken.
Check this door. I'll probably
All right.
do it again.
Yep, just putting your ear to it.
Yeah.
You don't seem to hear anything, sort of fluttering by. No ambience, no sound, no nothing.
Yeah, that's what we got so far. Only located one.
Alrighty. As back to the main hall, we'll find Mordecai sort of sitting himself back into his chair after sort of his frustration.
All right.
So,
I understand. Matthew North is gone. Mordred Kane is who Samantha is dealing with. Well, at the end of the day, your objective is most likely not going to interfere with mine. My true objective, anyway. Fine, Mordred. It seems you have, well, through a display of force and cunning, won me over to your side of things. So, how exactly are we going to do this then? The Valiant Vanguard has been, well, was growing into a pillar of inspiration and prowess. I do not wish to see it disappear into the darkness. Hell's Hydras cannot do this alone. You have allies, right? We have allies. This brutal strategy, and she sort of just looks around the room at her triumph and sort of scoffs at what's been done to it, cannot work everywhere. What do you plan for those stronger than us?
I believe you'll find those stronger than us can be swayed with just the right inspiration, not by that of heroism, but by unrelenting force. Force that cannot be stopped or quenched or defeated. As he sort of raises his hand and that small orb starts to float around him once more. Given time, I can restore this precious artifact to greater strength, larger, more powerful, more might behind it, so that it doesn't put mere holes in tables. It can tear through entire city walls. It can tear through any shield, any armor, any defense that ever dare stand before us. It is oblivion. It is the answer. It is the key. Allies will fall or find our side. Nothing more.
It is also old news, Mordred. I don't know how much you know my newfound friend and leader, I suppose. But you'll have to come to rely on me in due time, I guess. That is not the only artifact of its nature. There are others.
Indeed.
You know of them?
When I was destroyed and reborn from this thing, it became a part of me. I gained an awareness of things perhaps I don't truly understand, not as a scholar would, but a connection, a feeling, a calamity that has become a part of me. Is how I can move it so freely. How it's almost as if it is myself. I know there are others. I know this is but one piece in a grand scheme, such as myself. But I have been named a herald. I will not allow myself to play simple second fiddle, neither to any of those who may find themselves allied, though we have not met, neither to you, Samantha. You will serve myself. You will serve Hell's Hydras. There is no partnership. There is only assimilation. Joining us or falling away. Remember who is in power here.
But you cannot deny that the Valiant Vanguard has name power. People will flock to us, of course. People that we can convince to join our side, your side. If you simply just tear away our name, people are going to think we've been destroyed and not trust us.
Perhaps.
She's right. When we became the Valiant Vanguard, we changed. We used to be the Valiant Seven. And even though we were going for the same cause, it did put us back a little bit. We had to build that up again. You could use the name to gain allies. As Samantha said, our goals are not different. Our methods are, but our goals aren't. And if people are already eager to join Valiant Vanguard, it just means less time you need to spend looking for allies. They will come to you.
And they can be shown the truth. and brought into the fold. You hope to cleanse the world and bring about this great change, but you cannot be everywhere at once.
You all have a fair point. Perhaps I have thought myself too powerful, too mighty for my goals. Perhaps I need allies. I need the valiant vanguard. This might be true.
You're asking for me.
Oh, power, yes, your name. Not necessary. But you may have a point. I am not much of a politician. But maybe politics are the problem. Maybe we simply remove it. Regardless, I believe all I would need is not this gallivanting, not this noble talk. Nothing of this is truly what will change the world. This is always what has been. I need what I have been given and what my task is driven by. I need power. True, unbridled, magical, physical, unmatched power. And nothing more. As he just seems adamant about this plan. Is there something else you guys want to say? Jump back to one more round. As Terracotta, it's Othello.
Go.
Things are getting heated.
19, 20, 21. As with Hollow.
Waiting for her strike as I'm gonna fucking peel out after these motherfuckers.
Yeah, so Hollow moves in and then slashes this guy twice. As one blade comes just crossing across his chest, and then another just slices into his throat.
All right, give me those attack rolls as he's basically, well, yeah, I'd say if only for your silent steps, by the time you make it there, walking into the torchlight, you would be hidden for that first attack. Yep, as that'll definitely do it. Swinging and stabbing and cutting to him, ripping him asunder as he falls dead.
As I just charge right past her, she cuts that guy down as I come slamming into this motherfucker.
All right, give me those
Swinging
attack rolls. First attack with advantage. Ooh.
Ooh, first one connecting, the second one missing, I'm assuming.
Yep, absolutely. Swinging that bar, striking it to his body, and finally catching his attention, doing a hardy amount of damage. Mama freaking Mia. As that will hit him hard. As
So with Hollow, attack with a bonus action?
You can, yeah. As he'll get struck, the second one goes flying. He raises up his arms and pushes your bar away, although it seems like just with all the strength it takes to do that.
As here comes the offhand attack.
As it will be a normal strike.
Not surprised.
Oh,
I'm
he's
not
still surprised.
assassinating him.
Well, I guess he hasn't acted yet, so it'd be advantage. That's true. Assassin! Give me that attack roll with advantage.
Assassin!
Yeah, he's getting assassinated.
You just don't
No
get
sneak
sneak,
attack,
you do
but
get crit.
no sneak, no dex, but the blade is poisoned. I didn't put it. Yeah, okay, so hang on.
Throwing it at him.
Throwing the dagger
6.
as. Gotta make a con
17.
save or take 11 poison damage.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's just enough. The blade goes. Fuck, she has to make a con save.
Yeah,
Let's see.
con save.
It might just be enough.
DC 16.
Ooh, just barely
Oh.
failing it as the blade flies and sinks into his body. He lets out this grunt as froth begins to pour out of his mouth. As it seems like the blade digs just slightly into his body, still having to get through his armor, but it seems like the poison attached to it is what does him in and kills him.
As with Hollow, with a gesture, the blade just seems to disappear, leaving only a black feather as it reappears in With Hollow's hand. The
That's
dual
how that's
blades turn away together.
Let's move in.
20, 21.
As I, start heading in, as didn't have to use my bonus action, which is nice, as I take a step in, and my body starts to twitch ever so slightly, my arms and legs
Let me make sure
start
my
to
movement
elongate,
is legal because I also.
as I start to shift, as my
Okay, I can only make it to
senses
here.
become keener. So I'm going to transform, get some ki back.
Nice.
With Hollow can only make it to here because I used my bonus action to throw my dagger.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's the first round in there. How many rounds we got?
Just got the one for this one. It was meant to be going quicker. Is
right.
anything the familiars are doing?
Spirit's gonna lower herself, like as she flies, to fly more like window height and trying to get a little peek through as she's flying around the guild hall.
Sure.
Trying to see if there's any look-sees in rooms that might have been missed.
It just seems like you're looking around. You find it looks like an individual sitting in a room at the ready. You have a peek of what looks to be Jody tied up and muffled on a stool in the back of the room. And yeah, make it about there.
And that's it. Just keep flying.
Okay. And Impo, what are you up to?
Are you guys prepping to like engage them?
Just a bit more, we'll clean out the insides. We can be faster, if you are louder.
Attempt to ruin this entire thing. He's going to. So if you have a flying speed and a walking speed, and you use some of that flying speed, does it subtract from your walking speed as
Basically, you can only use so much of each speed. If you use like 20 feet of your walking speed and you have 60-foot flying, well then if you use 20 feet of your walking, you only have 40 of your flying left. You use movement on your turn.
It's basically like you have several bars and they all go down at the same speed.
Yeah.
So if you have 20 feet of running and 30 feet of flying, if you fly 30 feet and land, or if you fly 20 feet and land, you can't walk.
Yes.
You can fly another 10 feet, but you can't walk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's gonna get 10 feet there, land. Just gonna tiptoe out here. Oh,
As-
the door's in the way.
As you make it about here, I'd say, Mr. Impo, just past this doorway, you would sort of notice sitting on the bed with a crossbow in his lap is this very familiar looking individual who just seems to be staring off towards the doorway, almost seeming like looking at you, but seemingly just keeping his focus on what's going on just outside, as he seems to be ready to strike.
Im's just gonna look at him wide-eyed and just tell the rest of the group, crossbowman in here, this room, right next to the main hall door. Just
One of the bedrooms.
yeah.
Understood.
Which one?
The
North or
one
south?
north. Just gonna slink around here, and also quietly just try to walk under the table, maybe 10 feet.
Okay. I'm going to ask for you're sort of floating. You landed on the ground, you sort of like float.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna need another stealth check as you're in a room with there is lots of noise going on, so you have a little bit of ease to hide yourself, but you're still trying to remain quiet, not bump or move into anything. Like a cat sneaking into a room.
Got advantage for the thing?
It'd be just easier DC to meet.
Okay.
Let's see. Ooh.
He was mentioning advantage before. I didn't know if that was actually a thing or not.
I don't know how visibility advantage works.
Yep. This
means you can hide anywhere.
Let's see. Just trying to move unseen, unheard. Again, noise going on outside, conversation going on in, but it does seem like as you're sort of fluttering, you're trying to get underneath this table, as you get to squeeze between a soft spot, your wings sort of flutter as there is to, I guess, everyone at this central spot, an audible sort of like...
Well, he's not flying, he's like tiptoeing.
Well, he can't walk, though. Because he only has 20 feet walking. He went down, he's 20 feet, and then he's trying to walk, unless he's dashing.
I know, it was 10 feet to get to the door.
Okay,
And
so he just
landed.
flew to the door and then landed. Okay,
Yeah.
Gotcha. So yeah, so just tiptoeing then again, so he's sort of like maybe trying to slip his way between a couple of stools. There's like a sort of a soft like as like some furniture gets shifted, and you can see a couple of the guards in the room sort of stop and like turn to look to each other as if they're trying to confirm if they heard the same thing.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I'm sort of standing next to the stool, and I was literally intending on making a sort of grandiose display, which probably would have moved the stool anyway.
Well, there you go.
As I was in them, going to get on top of the table again.
Okay.
As it seems like that's more than enough, as the guards sort of like shake their heads, go back to what they're doing.
It's gonna take dash action and keep tiptoeing to get to this door.
Tip, 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 tip. Just make it past the doorway.
Then math. I'm gonna stop there.
Okay.
I don't like doing math.
All right. As coming back to the main hall, Samantha getting herself on top of the table.
Yep.
All right.
Table dancer.
So, I can see you're quite adamant about the way that you feel. But, if we're going to make a deal, it has been a bit of a tradition of mine to drink to it. Would you share in a drink with me, Mordred? To the future? To change? As I would pull out my conveniently placed Rum Runner's Choice. I want you to taste what it's like to kill a dragon, to know the power that's joining your side. I do not seek to usurp you. I do not seek to stab you in the back. My goals are my own, and you do not seem to be in the way of them. Though I really wish you hadn't broken my things. I am changing my demeanor to address Mordred and trying to be as convincing as possible that I'm cool, let's do this. But, you know, have a drink with me. Can I approach?
Very well. I see motions for the guards. You can see actually when you get up on the table, with your, I guess, decent perception and super far dark vision, the first thing you notice as you step onto the table, his eyes go down to see your feet walking on top of the actual obsidian, sort of like watching with like a bit of concern and interest before eventually looking back up at you. Approach.
Sort of
See if
unscrewing
my sword's over there.
Not even really looking around at this point, just shifting her body language as much as she can to just look like she doesn't intend to fight. And she's like not even really looking at him. Her snakes are all relaxed, and she's just unscrewing the bottle. I don't want to dig around in my bag to pull out the goblets. I don't want you to be too alarmed. Perhaps you wouldn't mind a bit of an indirect kiss, I suppose, as she just sort of just lifts the bottle up and just takes a few big gulps. Oh, your little orb is so ominous, sort of looking down at it. You mind? I want to sit next to my new leader. She sort of crouches down a little bit and tries to move into that square, but doesn't want to literally obliterate herself.
Yep, as you do try to approach, you do see the orb immediately just go. It's really small, but it just sort of just move right in front of you. I would step down from the table. It's already dirty enough, but I shall take this drink.
I hand him the bottle and try to step down, like I squat down from standing and just sort of try to squat down diagonally, putting my legs back over the side of the table. This is one hell of a way of negotiating, Mordred, but as Jody can, I'm sure, attest to, I am used to following orders. I'm used to doing what needs to be done for the sake of another. It has been freeing, but also a burden, to be quite honest with you. Having to wrangle so many opinions and deal with so many conflicting views. To take a load off and just do what needs to be done, and hopefully be left to my own devices, is reassuring. But what exactly needs to be done, Mordred? You have my power. You have the Vanguard. What now? Sort of just looking at him, like, trying to be, again, like, alright, you've convinced me. I'll be your Harley Quinn, Mr. Joker. What do you want?
As you see him just eyeing this whole bottle, just looking it over, watching, feeling it swish, although it's hard to see what's actually inside of it. He does bring it to his lips for a moment, sort of cautiously, just getting a quick taste. You do see him immediately respond to this magical sensation as it overtakes him.
I could get used to this.
That is the memories I had right as we defeated Obsidius. All that power, all that fire and heat taken for myself. Feel free to have another.
An excellent way to seal a new partnership. I have another, if you would. As you'll reach down and pull out what looks to be this very well-crafted sword kept tight in this sheath now, of elven design it looks like. As he'll actually reach out and hand it over to you, Samantha, if you would.
I recognize this blade. It has saved my life a few times.
I assume it would. You said before you are used to following orders. As you can imagine, following under someone such as Jody. She is quite demanding, I assume. You would do the same, of course, for this new partnership, yes? Follow orders? Do as you're told?
Certainly.
Excellent.
It is, well, the way of things. There must be order.
Indeed. Before it must be torn down, of course. Well then. A seal on this new partnership. Removal of old masters. Kill Jody.
Oh, Mordred. You are so inspiring, yet so beautifully cliche. As I just pull out the sword without a moment's hesitation. May I?
I see the
As I
guards
reach
are
for the
immediately
bottle.
on edge.
It is yours.
As I look over at Jody, is she bound? Like, is she gagged?
She is sitting on a stool, hands tied behind her back, legs tied together, gagged. As she's just looking between you and Mordred with sort of this stoic stare.
She runs a tavern. Can I offer her a last drink?
Perhaps you can. Go for
I
it.
appreciate it. I sort of just take the bottle, take the sword in my other hand, and just walk over to Jody. Well, I did say our relationship would come to an end, didn't I? I sort of reach up and just try to pull the gag off of her face.
As immediately I pull it down, you can see a bundle that looks to be like bound, like mounds of leather sort of just spill out of her mouth.
I have a plan for this.
Yeah. Taste victory, Jody.
As she'll just, if you pour it into her mouth, she'll accept it. Just stoic.
And I just put it down on the floor next to her. I want to make this quick, my old friend. Kneel.
She's tied.
She
Just her
tied her
hands are
feet
tied.
too?
I'm tied up, yes.
Oh, okay. I just sort of try to grab a hold of her shoulder.
I could certainly try if you'd like.
I just sort of position myself, put the bottle to over here somewhere, and position myself as though to behead her from the side, putting my left hand on her right shoulder and bringing the sword in, holding the sword in my right hand. You're absolutely sure, Mordred? You want Jody to die?
I want you to prove that if you're truly going to follow under the righteous way, that you will follow orders. Those you have thought questionable but moments ago, but now find amicable. Prove it. Prove that you can cut the ties to your former lives, to your former masters, and follow anew.
Do we have a plan for this, guys?
So what
So
I
be
want you
it.
to know. You actually kill her, we're over.
Gwildor, do it.
As
Wait, what am I supposed to do?
For the Hell's Hydras, then, I suppose. As you see Samantha lift up the blade to her side, not overhead, keeping it over to her side, and then you hear telepathically over the Rary's telepathic bond, Vanguard! Now! As I cast Dimension Door.
I
Oh no, she took my sword.
as with this swirl of shadow from this cloak falling from Samantha's shoulders, the two of them vanish. As where'd he go, Samantha?
I drop concentration, so Swift Hollow disappears.
As I am getting us to the front gate.
Nice.
Picturing it in my mind and bringing Jody out. Like here. Yeah.
Sure. Both you guys right here.
I suppose we're out of time.
As it
Do
sounds
we
like
act during that?
I was gonna say, like, you guys would have some time, about 3 rounds to act during this whole entire thing.
Oh,
moving quickly.
fantastic.
Nice. Perfecto.
I'm gonna give myself applause.
We're heading down. We go.
All right.
Go on.
Go to my con.
As we're rushing down, as we are just barreling into this first door.
Just
We are just rushing it out. As I continue on.
As you make your way down here, kicking over the door harshly, do catch the attention of these people down the hallway. As you are just knocking shit over, here start turning.
Can I actually see this guy?
Yeah, the door's open. As you guys would be kicking open doors, he'd turn to be looking your direction.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
Yes, sir.
as
Like the first one you see.
daggers, 2 daggers come thrown at him.
Yeah.
All right, give me those attacks.
Is he surprised?
Certainly. Didn't really expect all this noise to be suddenly kicking down doors.
Bum rush.
Good night, friend.
Oh man, what are they doing? Can't see nothing.
As
Ooh.
2 poison daggers.
Okay, let's see. What is that? 30.
2 con save.
41. Ooh, nice.
41, 52, 60 damage without
Ooh.
poison.
It's gonna be interesting as this dagger comes flying and sticks into his body, immediately like reaches up to catch onto these blades. As you can see him start to go limp in surprise as magic begins to spread from his chest. His body goes limp, and suddenly the thing embedded in his chest begins to crackle and burn before suddenly a loud and thunderous explosion echoes all throughout this place as he just seemingly explodes. Wrong thing. Explodes. upon his death.
Explodes.
Fucking poor guy over here, though.
Valiant Vanguard, now! Oh, gee, alright.
See, 11, so 21. As an explosion at the perfect timing seems to eradicate and spread throughout this room. I think you're just around the corner too. Ooh, yep, you're just outside of it, Swift Hollow, feeling this like crackling energy push back your hair as it seems like this person literally
Oh no, her hair's
obliterates.
tied up into a knot.
As he just seems to fall in a pile of what looks to be just like ashes falling down with a single cling, 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 cling object landing in the middle of the ashes.
With Hollow rushes in, using her cunning action to dash forward as she picks up 1 blade and then the 2nd blade. As she's moving to bum rush this guy.
Okay.
Check 10 to my con.
As she moves to there, right before she sort of gets in that spot, I'm just gonna launch 2 needles at this motherfucker.
Oh.
As 2 needles launching out.
Give me them needle shots.
Okay.
2 darts, I guess.
I'll be right here.
Ooh, that'll connect.
As with the first
That'll
strike,
connect.
it seems like this reddish energy in this strike actually doubles over as I'm gonna death strike it.
Nice. Let's give me those damage rolls. Ooh, 11 plus. Ooh, 8. Ooh. Oh, I see. So that's 11 plus 6 is 17 plus
Yeah,
11.
no 2.
Ooh. As both needles stick into his body as he falls dead to the ground.
As I continue on south, although at that point, yeah, I'm just going to step of the wind as I am just getting down to this door, getting the rest of my movement, as that's the end of my turn, the first one.
As
First round.
Hollow looks at the thing that fell.
Sure.
While
you
she's
see the
picking up her
kid with
daggers.
yeah. You'll be able to see it, but to put it on your next turn. But you see, like on the pile of ashes, it looks to be a small ring.
can I use my item interaction to pick it up?
On your next little round thing, you have 2 of them. So you have one to run down there, shoot the dude. Next one to come down, coming down to grab this thing. What do you do next? Get things moving.
Because that was just 1 round.
Yeah, go.
As I'm kicking open this door, second round, start a second
Breach
round.
and clear, breach and clear, go,
As
go,
you
go.
run down, kick this door down, you find it looks like the mapping room where everything's being planned out for adventures, but it seems to be empty.
Do you want us in there now?
Another door?
As I speak into the mind as Samantha's about to try to cut Jody's head off.
The bedrooms.
Understood. As turn back to Swift Hollow and start running back the way we came. Going 5, 10, 15,
That's
20.
not actually how that works. That's 10.
30, 35, 40.
30. Alright, so that means I can reach there, so...
I'm stepping of the winding to keep up with Swift Hollow. As we are both just fucking barreling down these hallways. As I don't have an item extraction, so I can't open a door. But I turn to hear where I was. As I know there's a dude with a crossbow. As I'm fucking ready.
As the problem is, once you make it to that point, Temarcon, it's been at least 10-ish seconds. Big loud explosion going on, things shaking. Suddenly things are transpiring. The moment someone comes through that door, you're gonna have a bolt coming flying right at you.
Shoots at me?
He does.
Oh no!
As suddenly appearing from the darkness of this room, the moment you step in, a bolt comes flying in direction. Boo! Oh, that's the wrong one. There we go. Boo!
You motherfucker! As I snatch that motherfucker out of there.
As you do 23 damage.
Snatchy. I don't remember how it's calculated. I know it's a
1d10
stupid amount.
plus your dex plus your monk level.
You might make that. Maybe.
No,
No.
plus 5 plus 6.
11.
11. I stop 11 damage of it.
Nice. So you instead would only take 12.
12?
As a bolt comes flying, it comes just too quick. You barely catch it by the end before it sticks in your side. As Temarcon, I'm going to need a strength saving throw. As this bolt hits you, you can see for a moment there's a glimmering, like almost ethereal looking thread at the end of this bolt stuck in your body, going back to his crossbow.
Ooh, strength saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
Hey!
Nice. As the bolt seemingly like sinks into your body, then pulls out painfully and slaps back into his crossbow. And as you start to move, you feel this pulling sensation at the bottom of your feet as you continue trying to move. You lift up, you can actually see at the soles of your feet there are these like web of ethereal threads trying to keep you stuck to the ground, but your momentum carries you and you rip them off as you are able to move.
As I just bring my bar up, whirling around, striking upwards twice as I spin it from one side to the other as I'm just trying to strike up into this guy's chin. As I strike twice, as I do need to make a con save. Yeah, my spell's still 5. As I strike up twice into his motherfucking chin.
Right.
Let's see. The first
Without my
one.
action. Sorry, I'm like interrupting you. I can't remember what turn we're on. We're on turn 3, right?
You spent turn 2 running down, kicking down dudes. You came up to this one at the end of that. He is outpacing you, Swift Hollow, because he's dashing.
I moved 90 feet.
He's hyper.
Yeah. As that first attack, will just barely hit. As he seems to try and pull away as the bar comes up and catches him on the chin.
Once again, that energy cracks up into him and then somewhat doubles over as I def strike it into him. As I'm going to spend one more key as well. As I'm eating through my key, but I'm going to try to stun strike this motherfucker.
Nice.
Strange magic in his crossbow.
You do see that as the bar hits his chin, he sort of rolls back with it, and it feels like it almost would break his neck, but strange flexibility keeps him from taking the full impact.
Ooh.
As instead,
7.
that energy would pulse through his body as you gotta make a con save. Con save! Ooh.
Hey.
Really. Catching him, sort of gets stuck in that position, still holding onto his crossbow, but thoroughly stunned.
Second one striking up into him. Has advantage, doesn't matter, hits anyways for a good 14. As I still got plenty of movement as I'm just moving in and just pummeling into him as I'm just trying to lay him the fuck out. So, gonna do a little flurry of blows. Crack, crack, with advantage. Crack, crack.
Ooh, I would say no, that's fine. The advantage, as both those would connect. His body sort of kept in a still position, pounding to and fro into his form. 12 and 9. Mamma mia. As he's taking blow after blow, quite hardy, despite not being able to dodge anymore.
I've got this one, Sweet Hollow.
Busting through.
You guys can probably hear a commotion in the next room as Samantha's about to kill Jody.
I mean, Samantha's being very, oh boy, oh, it's just rats. As with all clear.
Okay, next round. Keep moving. Kick one door down, nothing inside.
As
Otalo mentally tries to remember how the map of this room works.
Gotta act, Otalo. Use your brain. Go, go, go.
This is the door, right?
Looks like a door.
This is the wall.
Looks like a
Is it a
door.
door?
That'll be down here next
Kick
to
it
you.
open.
Next to you.
Oh, okay.
There
Door.
you go. Kicking down this door. I said, there we go. Boom. Like nothing inside.
Clear.
also, I did not kill that guy.
I don't think he's
Just
unconscious.
Just assume that whoever I'm punching or hitting, not kill him.
Sure, yeah. The ones you
He's
threw.
still up.
The amount of bodies.
This
Oh
guy-
yeah. Oh yeah, he's still up. That's right. I could
Yeah,
continue
he's-
laying the fuck into him. I just
Yeah, he's
assumed he
hardy.
was unconscious.
Honestly,
2 bars swinging it.
All right. Still pounding into his body. Ooh. As that will hit. 19.
Do you need backup? So Otalo can kill him.
I'm trying to save him.
I think he was explicitly one of the ones I told you to save.
Another strike comes
Okay.
in.
No.
Yeah.
That strike.
I thought the
So
two
follow
I
her,
wanted to save
kill
was
everything.
Mordred and Bird Guy.
Let's see. Okay, 14.
Or maybe it
Ah,
was
seems
someone
like
that,
he's taking blow after blow after
Persephone.
blow, barely standing on his feet anymore.
Still barely standing as a bit of my Warcaster prowess. Let me strike one last time as I just wheel my staff around my head and just crack him across the face. As I try to strike in one last time. Both hands. Crack.
Is that okay?
27 to hit. Ooh, another
As
12.
that will smack him across the head. His body falls to the ground, still stunned and limp.
It's down.
Yeah, Swithalo literally ultra combo. I mean, not Swithalo. Swithalo literally ultra comboed this guy.
Okay.
As
Running down there. If there's anything
Swithal's
else,
got one more turn.
Go, go, go.
Side rooms are
Surprise!
clear.
Dude, can I bust out?
The door? The room? Sure. Basically,
No, I
at this
mean,
point,
like,
the teleportation...
all right,
let
I'm asking the team. I mean, I can do this. Should I do that?
I think we are already revealed.
All right.
Yeah.
As
I think this would be like the moment I literally disappear into shadow, you
Yeah.
pop into the room.
The thing starts
Yeah.
shaking. There's a sound of an explosion amidst this tense situation, and suddenly magic takes place. People are trying to figure out what's going on.
real Swift Hollow
As-
appears, fake Swift Hollow disappears.
I follow her.
two
in.
daggers are coming at Mordred Kane.
All right, give me those attack rolls.
You
Nice
surprised?
attack roll. At
This
this
might be
point, he is
important.
caught off guard. He is on guard before, but definitely just having everything teleport. He would be surprised.
Yeah.
Hey.
Fucking A.
Night night.
Night night.
Oh.
As give me those attack
Back
rolls.
into oblivion you go.
Ooh. As let's see. How do you work? Ooh, lovely. As those blades would come flying right
Look
into
at
his
assassin
body.
rogue, big assassin.
As
Look
two
at
knives stab into his upper body, past the folds of his armor, which sort of pushes him back into his chair. Ooh, but it seems like it just barely avoided the armor, as that will just early in his own way connect. Doing 39 plus 19 is 58 damage. Nicely done. Do. Okay. Do. Oh, that's not it. There we are. As both blades strike into his body, gotta make some con saves. Ba 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 ba. Ba bow. That's layer. Ba
How much
bow.
I move?
And ba
9
bow.
temporary hit points. I actually didn't take any damage.
Nice. As you see these two blades
So
come
how-
flying and stab into his body, but he's able to overcome some of the poison inside. Do-do-do.
So Paulo
As you see
went into
Swithalo comes up. Yeah. Wait, no, Swift Hollow has a lot of movement. As she just takes her daggers back. I guess her one dagger.
Just ripping one out. Ooh, actually, so that's all I went. Okay. I'm gonna need a dex save.
Persephone would warn about the orb. She sees like Swift Hollow getting ready to leap on the table.
Oh, wait, I guess I would see the orb, wouldn't we?
Be right there in front of you.
Oh, yeah, it's Swift Hollow, infinite Swift Hollow foresight because she's a smart girl. She has like 16 in. There you go, she comes from this angle and then takes her daggers back.
Alright, you can see Mordred Kane pull back. Ah, an ambush. And he looks down the end of the table. You see, you can see Swift Hollow number 2 sitting in her stool, looking around, her form starting to fade. Did I win?
Yes, you did!
Hooray!
The Swift Hollow, yeah. The Swift Hollow, using her cunning action, doing multiple acrobatic, it's not a trampoline, but Swift Hollow has like a natural 19 in acrobatics as she just tumbles on down back to the group, using her cunning action to dash.
The magic man and the crossbowman are dead. Well, sort of.
The one with the heart problems.
Have we missed the party?
Sorry for the late arrival.
As you can hear Mordred pulling himself up from his seat, blood spilling down his side. You see him put his hand on his wound, and he pulls it away, and you can see already the bleeding has stopped. So be it. Valiant Vanguard will not leave here alive. The will of the Sovereign will press on, and we will unravel this world. Hell's Hydras! Arm yourselves! It's a fight tonight! As he holds out his hand, and you can see something appearing out of nowhere, out of a swivel of smoke, a large twisted glaive appears in his palm. As that is, we will end tonight's session with the Valiant Vanguard facing off against Hell's Hydras. Their scheme having been almost completed, they've gotten most of the hostages safe, but now the battle has begun. Can they save the remaining hostages? Will they make it out of this battle alive? We'll just have to tune in next week and see what happens.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but tough point.
Uh-huh.
Can my, in those 3 rounds, can my imp like run to that like storage room and grab Luna's staff?
Sure. I would say with your sneakiness, you would make it down past this door, or at least open this door. Though inside, you would find a couple of individuals along the way. You'd be making your way past here. Seems like the kitchen has some more people inside of it, and you'd have to probably be sneaking your way past them, or at least avoiding them. I'm gonna try and roll a stealth check real quick. Beautiful. Able to slip past them towards this back door, sneakily open it up, and inside you would find a pile that looks to be everyone's supplies. Although getting it back in time with all this transpiring will be a challenge.
Let's see, 3 rounds, have what? 80 feet of movement with dash.
Just have him take the scepter through the front door. So you go that way and then come down to where I am and come back in through the front door.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right.
Because I'm going to come back in that way too.
Sure. But with that is where we'll end tonight's session with the Valiant Vanguard finally drawing blades against Hell's Hydras. Jody taken out of the picture, but it seems as if there's still some people who might need to be saved. Can they get to them? Will they defeat Hell's Hydras? Or will they make short work of these apparently crazed, almost fanatic-seeming adventurers? Find out next time on the episode of Song of Rapture, episode 99?
99, baby!
Damn.
Coming on to the big 100.
Ooh.
Quite soon.
Yep.
Oh, wait, I want to see it in action.
That's okay.
I want to thank you all so much for hanging out with us tonight for a really tense and exciting episode of Song of Rapture. Oh, my God, that went beautifully, magnifique. Exactly the way I wanted. Excellent, excellently well done. Thank you, Brendan, for planning out your little escapades with Swift Hollow so beautifully. And thank you, Omen, for orchestrating this
It was interesting.
Yeah.
truly
That was a
unique
tough one to do.
Yeah, truly unique challenge of I felt bad the second I fucking said, all right, get to work. It's like, all right, well now I gotta the second the clock started ticking, it was really tense, and I'm super happy to be playing and showing this awesome ass game that you've put together in this really compelling story. So many more questions now. The world has shifted ever so slightly and only grows more dark. I love it. But there is more D&D to be had on Lionhead Gaming. In case you are thirsty for more, we'll be coming back this Sunday. This Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern for more Heroes of Thylia, as the Oracles Chosen are coming on the way back from the Mythal Forges, just relit, and now encountering a truly unfortunate and grisly sight on the road. A group of travelers or soldiers from Mitro seemingly cut down by strange lion eagle monstrosities. Foul creatures, but maybe something that can be just chased off? Who knows? You'll have to find out this Sunday as they confront the Griffins, another foul creation of Lutheria and her maniacal experiments. And meeting up with Vulcan thereafter, figuring out what the deal with the Mythal Forge is now that it's relit, what he'll need from them to make tools of battle, war, and, well, maybe even intrigue and politicking. Whatever it is they need, he should hopefully be able to whip up for them. So find out how that'll go and where our Oracle's Chosen will be going next this Sunday. And they'll be coming right on back this upcoming Tuesday as the Apex Alliance have found themselves in a truly alien Feywild. A strange sort of desert oasis that has an odd culture to it. One of seemingly a caste system or a class system. The Tiefling is on top and everyone else, the others, beneath them. It is a charged and interesting place, one that the Apex Alliance will need to navigate carefully, or, well, start a revolution and change everything. What will they decide to do? What is causing this portal to be opened? Do the Tieflings know about it? Can the others and their sources be trusted? These questions, and I'm sure many more, will be asked and answered this Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And we'll come right on back this upcoming Thursday for more Song of Rapture, as the Hell's Hydras, like Pharaoh, will have all of its fucking heads cut off. So, you do not want to miss it. So be sure to come on back for all of those wonderful shows. I thank you all so much for being here. I thank Johnny Thunder for so many wonderful bit contributions, along with 6662-666 for following, and Apache1222, How I Nerd. Thank you all so much for the raid earlier in the stream, and we're going to go ahead and pass on the love, hopefully to another member of our wonderful stream team, the Storytellers Union. If you're interested in TTRPG content from compelling role players and talented DMs, be sure to take a look at any of the members of the Storytellers Union, a stream team we are so happy and proud to be a part of. With that, I leave you with our parting message. May your dice roll 20s, and you always make your saves.
Hey, y'all.
Toodles!
Bye.
Wash your hands, not over.
In his mind.
I wonder what
is a trickster after all. Did he really escape? Or is he playing another trick?
So you get all of that at once, Cal. What do you do with that information?
What about Kendra?
Kendra, you do not hear her thoughts.
Is Kendra around?
She appears at your shoulder. Nice to see you alive and well, Captain.
Well, of course. It takes a bit more than some guy with the name Russ to take me down. Okay. Well, Parlance, I hear you've been acting captain while I've been gone. How's things faring? Apparently you saved the Guile bucks. Kyle.
Yes, Captain, and he acquitted himself most efficiently, I have to say.
Great. By the way, Parlance, now that we're inland, everyone getting paid?
Well, we already got paid for that job, but we do, I believe, get double wages for the job we just completed.
Yeah.
That is correct, yes. We are at the time of docking, so if everyone could please follow the same line as before, we'll have everything square and paid off in no time at all.
Parlance, your AEC begins flashing. Give a message from the matron.
Oh, I'm sorry, I have to take this. If you excuse me, please.
Parlance just turns and walks off.
I said I had a call.
Mate,
we got paid earlier?
You got paid the first time, yeah. So you should have had 10 silver added to your page.
That's a very convenient moment to have a call, I must say. Maybe we'll take your call here.
10 or 7? I thought
I think-
Lionel was 7.
I think yours is 7. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
By the way, I have looted the chest of my my captor as I was escaping. So bonuses, since this is a democratic ship. Even though apparently I didn't come for being saved, but I'm gonna give everyone another part of their wages.
That little bit of your remnant of energy that is reading into people's minds has Cutlass go, now that's good news.
That's fantastic, Captain. We were successful too. Look, we've got scrap, and not only that, we have a very, very good supply of scrap down below. I also
And he's gonna ramble for a minute until somebody tells him to shut up.
As Lionel's rambling at Cal, Parlance steps aside and goes to take his call. Pops back up. You hear the matron's voice on the other side. Parlance, the Guile. How are you?
I'm doing very well, matron. I hope that news have already arrived about my work for the family.
It has, and I am very thankful that you accomplished your goal with expertise. I appreciate that greatly. We're going to send another 100 silver to you on your AEC as a compensation for the positive outcome. In the meantime, we have important information for you. You must... you need to get... There is a device that has to be fitted into your clockwork Zephyr. It can be done at Saberhold. I hear that that's the location and where you are at the moment. But we're going to have this installed inside of your room.
Inside of my room. All right. May I inquire as to more about this sudden device that must be installed? Who is going to install it? What does it do? Why is it being installed?